to the crossover, you guys, man. We appreciate y'all for stopping in. Y'all hit that like. As y'all coming in, y'all not subscribe. Let's get it.
Easy on the beat.
Yo, what's good, y'all? What's good, YouTube, man? We out here for another live episode of the crossover. On episode, what is this? What we had, Herb? 13? We had 14.
Man, we had 13, man. We came a long way, my brother.
Yeah, man. You know what we do, man. It's like this ain't the beginning, it's staying short and close to the end, dog. But nevertheless, Herb, like, how you been, brother? What you been doing lately, man?
Man,
How you feeling?
I've been good, brother. Been looking at these guys going crazy, man. This basketball world started, man. What about you, my brother? Everything good?
Man, everything fine, man. But like the thing is, her like ironically, before I got on the panel, right? Before we started this show, I was having a conversation with somebody, right? And they was talking about the play. You know, I don't know if you know, right? The new playing groups they came out, and people were saying like there was, they had their opinions on it. You know what I'm saying? Like I was telling people that Boston had just like the playoffs, they got an easy route. You know what I'm saying? But like, what you think, Herm? What you think? What you think of these groups, bro?
I agree though. I do believe EC is a cakewalk for Boston for the defending champs. And also West C is actually the most competition throughout this play-in group. So I think we don't know who's gonna come out of that. And with the emergence of Memphis, a lot of people got expectations of Memphis, bro. I think that's the best. That's the best group, West C. But EC is damn sure one of the weakest groups as well, in my opinion, as well. But for us, that starter, man, if people into this plan, West C is gonna be the group to watch. And I think we don't know who's gonna come out of that, bro.
No, I definitely feel you. But you know who got interesting take on this, man? My guy Reed Brandon, bro. What's a shout out to you, brother? Like, what you think? What you think about these playing groups so far, man? Because
Yeah, no,
like,
what's good? What's good, y'all?
What's
what's good,
happening,
man?
brother?
I'm
They
gonna be
did your
real.
Mavericks wrong, man.
Hey, nah, look, I'm gonna be real. That West Seed, that one looking crazy. I think the Grizzlies are gonna be better this year. I think New Orleans is gonna be better. Denver's definitely gonna be better, and I think even Golden State. I think we probably have the toughest division so far in the NBA Cup. But I think we can pull it out though. Like pause. I think we can win this one. And I think after that one, I probably would consider just looking at it. Let me see. That
East A would be interesting though.
you say so East A it would be because of the Knicks and the Sixers and the Magic.
And the
But other
Magic,
than
yeah.
that, it's like I'm not really expecting nothing out of the Nets or the Hornets.
I was gonna say West B is the second best, to be honest with you. I think Utah's the only team that's like. I think Spurs is a potential playing
I
of
think
going in
Spurs
next
make a
I
year.
think
jump
the
with Chris Paul
Spurs
this
might
year.
win the group.
Yeah, I think the Spurs with Chris Paul this year make a jump. Like I know, Chris Paul hasn't been himself like the past few years, but it's something about Chris Paul when he gets with a younger star, like it creates magic. So definitely look out for the Spurs. They're gonna make a jump this year. I think they had a good draft as well. Um, OKC is gonna be OKC. Phoenix is gonna be better. I think even the Lakers. Um, so we'll see. Yeah. So between West C and West B, that's who I think like are the toughest divisions so far.
I'm already seeing in the chat, bro. You getting some pushback, brother, like as usual. But like today is one of those special days, man. Like today because we got a calling show today, baby. So like it's like for those who don't know, like we got a calling show today. We're gonna bring y'all one or two people at a time just to give y'all takes on what we about to talk about today. All right. But nevertheless, what you think about this, Herm? What do you think about going on about today's show?
Man, look, man. I know you guys gonna want the smoke stirred. I know they gonna want the smoke with a Hollywood Harm. But the thing is, man, nobody's overrating Wemby, Brandon Katz, Mr. Katz. To be honest, Wemby did everything he did on minutes restriction, brother. So nobody is overrating Wemby. Nobody is going overboard with him. If you seen his impact on limited minutes, he had immediate. His greatest impact was on defense, even though he's got a great offensive arsenal with him as well. But his defense was so man. His defense is so underrated. It's so underappreciated. He almost was in the running
He
for
could have won. He could have won Defensive Player of the Year this year. Like I
just
don't care what
off
nobody
of
say,
being
bro.
on minutes restriction. Being on minutes restriction, he could have won Defensive Player of the Year.
Yeah, that's a
So
fact.
So I mean, Brandon Katz, bro, you gotta stop. You gotta stop talking about because he 2 3 years away. The Spurs, they are well coached. They are disciplined. At the end of the day,
Hmm.
they have gotten better. So with us feeling like the Spurs might be a play-in team, with me, honestly, I say the Spurs gonna be the eighth seed. I'm not overrating them. It just typically when you get a generation of talent, that's the type of leap they typically make. So the Spurs being the AFC seed is not like a significant jump. It's just the type of jump that when you got a all elite talent like Wemby, that's the type of jump you normally make. So
And
nobody's
he
overrated Wemby.
said he also said that I had a dumb take saying that the Grizzlies are going to get better because they were only bad last year. No, I think we all acknowledge that they were the reason that they were bad last year. But what I'm saying is that with the healthy Ja who just got cleared to play again, right? What was it this week? Well, last week he just got cleared to play again. I do think that they make
Last week, yep.
yeah, I think they make a step to be better than even they were the year before. Is what I'm trying to say. So that's what I mean. They get better. I don't think they're a bad team. They just had a bad season and bad luck, and with John Morant and his issues that he had last season that cost him what was it, like 25 games?
Yeah, yeah.
And we saw the impact that he had immediately when he came back. So that's what I mean. They're going to be better. They're going to. I think they take the next step, whatever that is for the Grizzlies.
I'm finna throw a diss to Brandon Cats. Brandon Cats. They gonna be just fine because the team that will drop out, and we'll touch on this later on down the line. The Clippers are not gonna make the playoffs, buddy. And you can sit up there and want to believe it. The ones go drop out. So it's still room for the Spurs to make it, even though Memphis getting better. Even though you got the Kings still hovering around. You still got Golden State that can make some noise. But end of the day, it's very, what I'm saying, possible that the Spurs would be an AFC that they could actually get through the play-in. It's some teams in
No,
the West that's going to drop, bro. And the Clippers damn sure one of them, Brandon Cats.
yeah, we got all off season to talk about and predict who will make the playoffs. But we all know what we came here for. We all know what happened this week. It's been a crazy off season, multiple storylines. We about to get into it right now. Starting with the Finals MVP himself, Jaylen Brown. Jaylen, as we all know, Team USA released a roster about a couple months ago in regards to having multiple All Stars such as Kawhi Leonard, Joel Embiid, LeBron, KD. Y'all been watching. Y'all know who's on the roster, whatever. But nevertheless, as expected, when Kawhi Leonard got hurt and his immediate replacement was not the Finals MVP, not the first Eastern Conference players to have both the Eastern Conference Finals and the Finals MVP in the same year. Not Jaylen Brown, another one of the Celtics joined the team in Derek White. Now, some might say that they ponder what's going on. Why is Jaylen Brown not fitting on a team? He's clearly one of the top 15 American players we have. But nevertheless, why do y'all think is Jaylen Brown being quote unquote blackballed? Why do y'all think why do y'all think he didn't make the team? Like what you think that is? We're gonna start with rebranding. Like why didn't Jaylen Brown make Team USA even though a slot became open after Kawhi injury, brother?
I'm gonna be real. I'm surprised that he didn't make the team. I think even before Kawhi stepped away, I didn't think that Kawhi should have been on the U.S. team. He did have a good year. We saw how it ended, but I just think that Jaylen Brown, he had a great run, right? And even with you losing a forward, it would make sense to then bring in a forward. And that's what I thought was going to happen. But seeing that Jaylen Brown does have issues with Nike, he does tend to cover up the patches with a Nike patch. When he does wear the shoes, I believe he's a sneaker free agent. I want to say so. He has done the little petty things as far as covering up the Nike check. And Phil Knight may not like that, and we're seeing politics I think go on right now, and that's why he even tweeted out responding to Twitter. I mean, responding to Nike saying that your resources can't stop me. So I think it's a little bit of politics and pettiness from Nike's end, but he definitely should be on Team USA right now.
Now before we get to her and rebranding, you don't think you think in regards to a lot of people don't know, no, actually no, let me get to her. Why do you think Jaylen Brown's being snubbed, huh? Like why do you think that is? And is he actually getting blackballed?
In the sense he is, but in the sense he still isn't because in the day he's still playing for the Celtics. So that carries some weight for him too. That's a positive thing for him too. And he just brought Boston the championship. So he's gonna get some backlash, but you got one of the most decorated organization behind you. And one thing we know about Boston has displayed a lot of power and a lot of influence in the NBA for years. So I think he'll be covered in that aspect. But for us, the Olympic team, yes, they snubbed him. It was a personal decision. It was nothing to deal with basketball. Because if it was something to deal with basketball, Jaylen Brown would be on this roster. Even should have been selected before Kawhi Leonard. So to me, it is personal. You got to look at certain things he had done. He said when he got the biggest contract in the league, he said he was going to put it into the community. He was going to focus on the community, the African American community in Boston. Then on top of that, when Kyrie Irving was going through his controversial things with the COVID shot, Also, with his stance with the documentary, when Kyrie over posted the documentary, Jaylen Brown stood with Kyrie, took up for Kyrie Irving. Then you got to look at it. He did something during the summer when he got paid. He played in the Big Three with Ice Cube, in which we see some documented stuff with Ice Cube in the NBA as well. So Jaylen Brown put himself in the midst of a lot of little controversy to the where people will have a disliking of him. So end of the day, I think it's personal. I think it's a damn shame, and honestly, and honestly, this is why people have a lot of that, a lot of heat towards how they feel about Jaylen Brown being snubbed, and plus Sturdy might not add, and I know it's gonna lead into later on in the show. He just did. He had two beautiful women with him, and you got Twitter people. You got the Twitter TMZ lip reading what he said about Bronny James. That's the icing on the cake for Jaylen Brown. So he's gonna be the most hated in the NBA. That's just the honest God truth.
I mean, Sturdy, what do you think? What do you think is going on between Jaylen Brown and Nike, the Olympic team? Like, what do you think is going on?
I think it's a mix of both. First of all, I don't think he's being blackballed. Like for those who, like Herm just alluded to, Mahmoud Abdul Rauf got blackballed. Craig
Yeah, for
Hodges
sure.
got blackballed. Like those are examples of a player getting blackballed. Jaylen Brown's not getting blackballed. He just got snubbed from Team USA. Now, I do agree with the public, meaning is more than just the reason that Grant Hill said it was. For those who don't know, Grant Hill, he's on the main committee of the Team USA. He essentially put the team together, him and a group of other individuals, and he came out publicly and said one of the reasons why we chose Derek White over Jaylen Brown, allegedly for fit. We wanted to choose a guy that's more willing to play his role, that we think fits better with the team. Which, when you think about it, it's, in particular, you look at the 2012, you look at the last Olympic team, you look at the Redeem team. There was guys. All those teams did not have from top to bottom superstars. There was guys that was a little more comfortable as playing that role player slot. So from that aspect, from basketball aspect, I see that angle. But we're not gonna be naive. We also know the influence of Nike. Nike helps sponsor the league. Nike helps sponsor some of the memorabilia and the merchandise and the jerseys the players wear. And they're the biggest shoe brand international. So they want obviously not only their app, not only their merchandise represented, but most importantly, want the right athlete, quote unquote, to represent it. Now, Jaylen Brown's an intellectual dude. Like since going into the NBA, let's be honest, Brandon Herm, he was getting pushback for his intelligence. Y'all know they don't they don't want
Yeah,
all black men to talk a certain level of intelligence or have a certain level of awareness.
yeah,
Like this tweet right here. For those who remember, like let me get this band off screen. If those who remember when Kyrie was going through his situation with Nike, Jaylen Brown took it to him. One of the many comments he had about Nike is since when did Nike care about ethics? And based off that, I'm like, okay. And that's where you can see some of the gripe between Jaylen Brown and Nike. Nike don't want anybody potentially that will bring a negative connotation to their brand or company. So,
Hmm.
but my thing is, but I ponder some stuff, right? I'm like, if Nike have this much influence, why is a guy like Steph Curry who represents Under Armour on the team? Same thing for Anthony Edwards. He's not a Nike brand.
Because you still have to put together the best team, right? Like we got embarrassed, right, when we didn't get a medal. So in US, well, Nike does sponsor the USA Olympics basketball team, right? So if you've been taking digs at us, right, we just had to drop Kyrie Irving for the quote unquote anti-Semitic, post that he made. We just had to do away with him. And Jaylen Brown, who's been patching, who's been putting patches over the Nike check, and I believe he had a pair of shoes that said, how Nike is just do it. He had a pair of shoes that said just do better. And he's been challenging Nike, right? He's been a sneaker free agent for about 3 years now. when his contract expired with Adidas. So he's been taking digs at them. And if we're sponsoring, the USA basketball, hey, bro, I'm not gonna put it past them pulling strings and playing politics with them because let's be real. If Steph Curry were out here taking digs at Nike, they may be trying to pull strings with him. But Steph Curry is just too big of a star where Jaylen Brown is still rising, right? Jaylen Brown coming off of having probably one of the best years of his life in basketball, right? Eastern Conference MVP, Finals MVP, dunk contest participant, even though it was probably one of the worst performances. Even though he was doing dunks that y'all been hyping up from other, legends. Uh, I do think it's politics that's going into it, man. And I'm not upset with Jaylen Brown for taking a stance and pointing out what's going on. I think everybody sees what's going on here. Him and Kyrie Irving, and those are the two that get left off the team. So it's kind of crazy.
Now I'm gonna have to be the bad guy for a second though.
Mm-hmm.
This is what I'm at to do when it comes to Jaylen Brown. Jaylen Brown, if you are looking for a shoe deal, you need to start your own shoe line because if you do sign with the Adidas, if you do sign with the Reebok, if you do sign with Fila, New Balance, whoever you sign with, all of them do the same thing. All of them don't have ethics as well. Under Armour either. So if you're going to go that lane, Jaylen Brown, you can't get a shoe deal. You can't sign with nobody. You got to start your own brand if you're going to do it. Because at the end of the day, if you do get a shoe deal, it's going to show the hypocrisy in your stands when it comes to Nike. So end of the day, that's the danger zone that you create in Jaylen Brown. But also, though, Jaylen Brown, I don't like you taking back whatever comments that you stood on. Don't ever take your comments back, man. Stand on principle. Don't sit up there and take back comments when you get approached about a controversial situation when it comes to one of the greatest players that ever played the game, son.
I mean, Herman, what do you? I feel like what comments
Hey,
did you want to? What comments did he take back? Did
No,
you
we gonna
take back any
oh
comments?
he took back for those who don't know, Jaylen Brown took back these. So, but let's take a step back, huh? Because you kind of skipped one crucial step, right? So first, you did. First of all, Jaylen Brown doing his thing, sitting next to two beautiful women, just enjoying another summer league game. Lakers versus Celtics. You know what I'm saying? He's a Celtics player. Why not? There's some teammates, potential teammates of his. He's gonna go to the that's playing in summer league. So why not go to the game? He's a basketball player. Why not? Right? But apparently, Rick Brandon, that people in the crowd allegedly read the lips of their conversation. No audio. They
Mm-hmm.
apparently read the lips of the conversation between Jaylen Brown and the two young ladies right next to him in regards to Bronny James, saying things such as, "No, I don't think Bronny James is a pro." Saying things such as, he's not ready yet. But what Herman's alluding to is Jaylen Brown kind of took a step back. As you can see on the screen, he said it's actually a flex to have your son alongside you in the NBA. It reflects greatness and longevity. Bronny has all the tools around him to be successful. Look forward to watching his growth.
So
Now,
what? So what did he take back?
rebranded,
He didn't take
rebranded.
anything back.
No, so that's what we about to get into right now. Herm, and we about to bring on some guests too. After Herm and Rebranded get their comments. Herm, what you mean by that, bro? Like, cause I'm reading this tweet, brother. What did he walk back?
I mean, end of the day, unfortunately, the social media stuff that's going on with this Twitter, with all the Instagram, with all this stuff going on, you got the police on these avenues. They reading your lips, they reading your conversations. Hell, they may even get sound bites off your little conversation that was in private when you had a Pacific game or a Pacific restaurant or anything like that. You got these people. You got these people basically lip reading the conversation Jaylen Brown had with Angel Reese and Miss Kaiser, these two beautiful women that he was at the game with watching Bronny James. And they read his lips saying that Bronny James is not an NBA pro. Then you got Angel Reese and them. basically saying on top of that that they think he just G League ready. So they're not talking about that. They just more focused on what Jaylen Brown said that Bronny James is not a pro.
Herm, you're not about to do this, bro. You
Hey, I'm
made the
just telling
No,
you
statement.
what they
but her,
said.
but
No,
but
hold on,
what
hold on, hold
did
on.
but
Sir,
her
he made a
this tweet?
statement though. He
You
said
know
he
what I'm saying?
walked it
Like
back. Where did
he
he
said
walk it
walk it
back?
back. What in this tweet that he walked back? Jacob, what
Nothing.
you like? That's what I'm at. I'm trying to figure out her.
I mean, if Jaylen Brown said he don't think Bronny is a pro, why you go back and then now you're trying to hide the fact what you said was saying that now it's a flex to have your son with you, and now you saying you hope you have a hope to see Bronny's growth when you absolutely said you think Bronny James is not a pro
Hold
basketball
on, but
player.
Herm. So
Walk it back.
this is what you're doing though, Herm, right? Because Jaylen Brown hasn't said anything that none of us on these panels have said, haven't said already, right? He said that Bronny isn't a pro right now. I don't think he's a pro. Sturdy doesn't think he's a pro. I don't believe you think he's a pro. So he didn't say anything that nobody else was already thinking. He did not walk it back. He didn't retweet the post and say, "Oh, that was not the words that I said." He literally just he elaborated a little bit and he said, "Yo, listen, it's a flex to have your son in the league." Right? I think that's something that all of us have said. Some of y'all have cried about nepotism. Some of y'all have stated, "Oh, well, it's unfair. He's taking the spot of someone." But I think we all can agree that as fathers or even sons, it is quite a flex to be able to pull strings to get your son in the league. He said nothing wrong. He didn't say anything that none of us didn't agree with. And I don't believe he took it back. So I think you may have used the wrong words when you say he took it back. I actually think he stood on business because in a world where we're in PC culture and people do have to retract statements and comments that they make, he literally retweeted it and he followed up. He didn't run away from it. He didn't say I didn't say that. He just retweeted it and he said, "Hey, listen," he gave props, right? And Bronny I think he'll improve, but yes, he's not ready right now. I believe he should be G League bound. I honestly think he should have stayed in college. So I don't see nothing wrong with what Jaylen Brown said, and I don't think it's right to say that he walked it back when he clearly didn't.
But no, all right, but that honestly that's a good point, Brandon. But we got some guests on the panel, formerly known as H from the UK. Let's start with you, brother. What is your thoughts on not only Jaylen Brown's quote unquote being blackballed from Team USA, but also reason behind that, and also what we talk about now on his comments on Bronny and this tweet right here, brother? What do you think was going on? What's your thoughts, brother? Let us know.
First things first, man. Salute everyone in the chat, man. Salute to Sturdy, Rebrandon,
Salute,
Hollywood Hearn, Trunks, man. Yeah, salute everyone in the chat.
Salute,
And first
salute.
thing, or secondly, yo, man, get the likes up, man. Get the likes up, man. They're giving good content, man. You had a great episode yesterday. There's going to be a great episode today. But yeah, let's just get into it, bro. When it comes to Jaylen Brown, I think Sturdy hit it on the nail on the head. And I think Wally's been saying the same thing. Jaylen Brown is an intelligent black man. I don't want to say black, but I've just got to emphasize it. By intelligence, I mean he speaks his mind. He doesn't go with the narrative, he speaks his mind. Even from the NBA drafts, I think he had a 4.0 average or something close to that when he was coming out of college. Like this isn't your average person. This is someone who is very business minded and can articulate themselves very well. We're also forgetting the religious factor
Um,
that he's
um,
at.
um,
Sorry.
Hey, my fault. Just to add extra context, what you just said, Jaylen Brown draft stock actually went down because scouts and GMs questioned if he was too smart for the game of basketball. But go ahead,
Mm-hmm.
do you think?
Exactly, man. And why would you think someone's too smart for the NBA? Like that's a whole nother that's a whole nother answer for a whole nother day. We could be here for an hour breaking that down. But also his religious background as well. I believe he's of the Islamic faith. And again, with the war with Israel and Palestine, with Jaylen Brown being an intelligent person and having that platform, I'm guaranteed that he's gonna bring it up on the big world stage as well. More or less being more pro Palestine, which America and majority of the Western world don't want to promote. So you have to put in those factors. in terms of Bronny James, like we all know what this is at the end of the day. Like this is a financial move and it's also a legacy move. But I agree with Hearn, man. Like that's for me, Jaylen Brown shouldn't have run that back, man. That was damage control. I don't care what anyone's saying. Like people are saying he's still standing on business. He wasn't standing on business. It's a tongue in cheek saying like, yeah, I got caught, and now I'm gonna turn my negative comment into a positive. Because at the end of the day, once go on, bro.
No, land your plane, H. Land your plane. Did we go to Trump?
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Now, so when he said what he said and it's leaked out, at the end of the day, LeBron James has seen the comment. I think people are underestimating the influence LeBron James now has in the media, but I think people are seeing it coming to the light. For the fact that Bronny's having such a subpar um summer league, yet the highlights what have been shown at ESPN is making it look like I don't know, he's a top 5 draft pick is unbelievable. This LeBron James has a lot of power in the media. When Jaylen Brown's released that and LeBron seen it, and basically at the end of the day, you're dissing his son. Let's be real. Forget all the basketball stuff. You're dissing my bloodline. You're dissing my son. Once he's seen that, it's okay. I'm gonna get you blackballed. I'm gonna make your life a misery from a media standpoint. Jaylen Brown's gone. I don't want that. Let me try and do some damage control. So that's just my take on it, anyway.
That's it. That's it. That I'm not gonna lie, H. I was with you until that the last part, but I'll give my response after Charles, baby. What you doing here, man? Like, what you feel like with the topics we doing that now?
What's that in the trunks, man?
You
What's
said
going
what?
on, man? What is your comments and opinions on Jaylen Brown reasons for not making Team USA, in addition to his comments about Bronny and tweet?
Well, first of all, I feel very disappointed at how the USA team with the selection. If you personally ask me, I think he should have already been in the lineup when they announced the lineup for the USA team. That's my personal opinion because I feel like he was the best two guard, or if you want to say he's a three, so be it. Players in the league right now. I mean, there's no excuses, man. I hate how that guy. I don't know that guy that was with LeBron James in Cleveland, being a sports reporter, and LeBron put him on. He's the white guy. I forgot his name, but he like people are stating and saying that Jaylen Brown didn't make it because he's not a right fit for this team. He's already a star slash superstar player for a team, and the USA needs other pieces and other factors for their
Brian
team.
Brian Windhorse. Brian
Exactly,
Windhorse.
Brian Windhorst. I said that's the biggest pope of you know what, man. That's pure utter BS in my personal opinion. I'm pretty sure Jaylen Brown he can play within a system where he doesn't have to score a lot of points. I mean, he did it when he was playing in FIBA. I think a year or 2 years ago in Tokyo, Japan, I believe so. So if he was willing to sacrifice his points and his averages when he was in Tokyo, what makes you think he won't do it now? I don't think Jaylen Brown has a mindset of being hot headed or being like, oh yeah, I have to dominate within this instance. No, that's not his mindset, and that's not how he overall plays basketball. And another thing with that too, also, man, the comments he made about Bronny, I mean, let's be honest, I think a good majority of people agree with it. Not entirely. I mean, at the same time, I'm gonna give him somewhat of an excuse, just a little bit, right? I understand he came in the NBA because of his last name, more so that, and it's a money move also to begin with. The Lakers, their organization knows they're not winning. They're not gonna go far in the playoff in the postseason. They're not gonna get Jared Allen. I don't care how much they want to push that. They're basically in the bottom right now. So I think it was a business decision for them. Jeannie Buss, she has to find some way to use this opportunity to make money, and she's gonna do it because they will make a lot of money off of this, and this is a financial move. But Jaylen Brown stated what he said, and just like what No Face said, man, Jaylen Brown at this moment, you public enemy number one at this moment. You're gonna have the target you're gonna have in your back is gonna be it's gonna be crazy because I won't be surprised if the media found some way to to blackball you from awards, from votings, from or anything else that can increase and improve your NBA career at this moment. And I, honest to God, don't think Jaylen Brown will ever possibly be on a USA men's basketball team no more. In my personal opinion, the way how he disrespected and dissed Nike stating and saying that that organization has no ethics. If you're going and also defending Kyrie Irving for what his stance was, and also putting out the so-called anti Israel or you know propaganda he put out there. So that just instantly shows you right there, how Jaylen Brown could be treated with this, the Nike USA men's basketball team. So that's how I basically feel about it.
Um, that was a good take,
And
Trunks.
don't be surprised. Don't be surprised when Mia go 10
That
times
was
harder
that
trying
was
to
one of
break
your
up.
best takes. I ain't gonna lie.
No, that was a fantastic take. To be honest with you, I honestly I do agree with you because we all know how the game is. Like once they label you a certain way, they they aren't. Once they label you a certain way, they're going to keep you in that box, unfortunately. And like H alluded to perfectly, Jaylen Brown is intelligent primarily because not only the way he articulates himself, but anything he speaks on, he does research on. And no matter what the common narrative is, he's not going to quote unquote shut his mouth about it. And
Yeah,
so one of the reasons why he didn't get on the Olympic team as well. At the end of the day, that's also a business move as well. The Olympics. It's not just purely for the goal. It's also exposure, representation, and marketing. And any marketing, like H alluded to before, Jaylen Brown is not afraid to talk about politics. Jaylen Brown is not afraid to talk about any things that he disagree ethically or morally. But in terms of sports media, anything that you take away from the sport itself, advertisers dislike that, commissioners dislike that, sponsors dislike that because you bringing light to everything they don't want you to bring it to. It's not about their product. If it's not about the game, then they don't want you to be a representation. And so I think H was spot on in terms of that theory. If Jaylen Brown was allowed on Team USA, let's be honest, we're going to win regardless of he's on the team or not. But there is that chance that he will use that global platform to speak about set issues that he disagreed with. And so that's why I think he got snubbed. It's not because of fit. That's the thing I think Grant Hill capped about. It's not just because of fit, because Jaylen Brown has proven to make adjustments to his game on a talented, studded team with the Boston Celtics. Jaylen Brown game itself, especially on Team USA, can play an ancillary role, quote unquote. So I don't buy the fact that it's just straight fit. I do think there's multiple reasons outside of just the game of basketball why Jaylen Brown didn't make Team USA. Well, in regards to that tweet, I'm not gonna lie. I'm 60-40 leaning towards Hearn and H way, right? Because
I forgot what I was gonna say about
yeah,
the
go.
tweet he posted. I think he just more so clarified what he was stating and saying. That was my person.
Man,
And
that's
who knows? He probably
BS.
did get the call from
That's
LeBron,
BS, man.
Clutch Sports. You basically know it. But I feel like, in my opinion, I do feel like Jaylen Brown stand on business. In my personal
Man, he
opinion, because
ain't
he just
standing on
he didn't
business.
come out and say, "Oh, I apologize, I'm sorry, I didn't." He
Man,
just said, "Hey,
he
it's actually
walked he
pretty
walked
cool and
back.
fun that your son is in the league and you got the power and the
Hey, Trunks,
connections
you
to
know
put
he
him in the
walked
league."
back. Trunks, you
I
know
Nah,
walk back.
Jaylen
yeah,
Brown walked it back because at the end of the day, how can you get
But
most men true feelings? Through women. He had two beautiful women with him, and he's talking his shit. He's
yeah, it was
talking
a
his
setup. It was a
trash
setup.
rather.
He said they set
Now,
him up. I believe that.
now there wasn't no setup. He was
And to
speaking
me, it
his
was. To
truth.
me, it was.
He was kicking it with two beautiful women, and he's talking his cash. You know what? That's what he
No,
was doing, and he got caught up in it. They lip read him. he
they
got
set up
caught up.
Jaylen Brown. They
He
set
got
Jaylen
caught
Brown
up
up.
in it.
you can't even
Hey,
say
hey,
caught up her. You can't even say caught up at that point. You lip reading like lip read,
hey,
not
hey,
audio, not
hey.
not 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 anything written. It's what people think he said, what they think they said.
And then he ain't denied. But the fact that you sat up there to try to clean it up, that's how I know you said it, because you tried to clean it up and try to go ahead and say some big up thing, which is true what you said. But nigga, if you said it, Jaylen Brown, Nigga, you ain't got. If they ask you about it, say, "Yeah, I meant what I said." You could have just that could have just been your simple short statement. It could have been left at that, but no, you did that because you didn't want to receive the full backlash you would have got. It would have been a war on you in the media. It would have been a war on you for club sports. Rich Paul probably would have done some type of interview to try to dish you any way he could. If you would have really stood on business and say, "Yeah, I said what I said." I analyzed the kid. I watched the kid. He's not ready for the NBA. If he would have said that, that's standing on business. But by you trying to clean it up and bring up the general aspect of why it's a good thing that LeBron James being able to play with his son. It's a great thing because that shows his greatness and longevity. We all know that, nigga. So you saying something that we already know. The reason why you walked it back, bro, because you didn't want the smoke from these cats. You got a little scared. You didn't stand on business. At the end of the day, I don't want to hear nothing about Jaylen Brown sitting up there standing on business. If you would have really stood on business, they would have asked me what you meant. I meant everything that y'all left read for me. That's why I would have said, you left read it, you got what you got out of that. That's all I would have said.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever you got out of that, you
Talk it,
got out
Hearn,
of
man.
it.
Talk it, man. Talk
He
it.
didn't stand on
End of
no
the day,
damn
man.
business.
End of the day, the pressure came, man. Obviously, he's got that new woman, obviously. And I at the end of the day, I'm a married man, but at the end of the day, my eyes don't lie, man. So it is what it is. Read between the lines what I mean by it, man. The eyes don't lie, man.
The
Maybe not
black
Angel
delegation
Reese.
approves.
That ain't my type, man. But the middle one, man, the eyes don't lie, bro. So boy, he got caught up because Hearn
Wait a minute.
already.
Wait, whoa, 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 whoa. Oh, hold on, face. Wait a minute. No face. No face. No face. Wait a minute. No. Those not your type of woman.
Listen to what I
That's me
said.
describing. That's
Listen
me
to what you said.
describing.
Listen to
I,
what you said. But no, repeat what you
I
said. Repeat what you
said,
said, bro.
I said, Angel Reese ain't my type, but the one in the middle, say
Oh,
less.
okay. I was about to say.
That's all I need.
I was about to say.
And look at his face, man. Look at his face. That's a brother who's saying, you know what? I can't wait till the game's done. That's a face of I can't wait till this game's done.
All right. We gonna
Obviously,
keep
man.
this. We gonna keep this PG. We gonna keep this
No.
PG.
Yo,
This is a
yo,
this is a family. This is a family
this is
sports show. All right.
bro. I'm not talking nothing dirty. You know, go for a nice little meal. You know, get to know each other a bit more. Them type of stuff. You already know how it is, bro. But at the end of the day, he was feeling himself, and at the end of the day, they talk ball anyway. So he's just probably watching it, and he's watching the Celtics and thinking, I destroy these guys every other day, man. When they come up to train, man, when we get trying to run some drills and run some sets and whatnot, I destroy these guys, and Bronny struggling against these. He's not ready. That's what he's probably thinking. He's not ready. If I cook these at 50%, and Bronny's trying his best, and he's not ready. And then you can see from what it says with her lip reading, she's gone, yeah, I think he's gonna go in the G League and so forth. Because she can see with her eyes, like at the end of the day, I've seen guys who ball. I've seen guys at that level. I think she used to date Kevin Porter, if I'm not mistaken.
She did.
Kevin Porter.
Yeah.
So there you go. Imagine now, your ex now, you're comparing to your ex who's about the same height, same size, and same skills, and you're looking, okay. So he was like a rotational player. So his Bronny's like 20%, 30% of that. Then he's a G League player. All of these type of things, man. They're just talking that at the end of the day, the ballers, man. And at the end of the day, when you're at that level, you can look at someone for 5 minutes and see if they're ready or not. You can go in the gym. I bet because her and Wally are played at a high level. So type it in the chat, Wally, and you can confirm it. You can go in the gym now, stand on the wall for 5 minutes, and you can see who's the real deal and who are the fakers. Am I lying, her?
Oh no,
No,
you're not lying.
that's
You're not.
facts. That's facts.
You're not lying
I
at
just
all.
want to clarify this. Like, I don't think anyone has a problem with Jaylen Brown's opinion because let's be honest, people been saying that for weeks at this point. Hearn should know this. Like people been saying that for weeks at this point. But only thing I do push back against you, H, and like in Herm in regards to the quote unquote media backlash. I'm not denying LeBron doesn't have some influence of the media, but let's not pretend Jaylen Brown was getting heat from the mainstream media before his comments about Bronny. Did we not forget that Stephen A tried to push a narrative saying this man isn't marketable according to his sources? and Jaylen Brown not having multiple tweets back and forth between they saying state your sources. And after he won the title during the Celtics Boston Celtics parade, he actually had a shirt saying state your source. So we're not while I am going to push back on, I don't think the Bronny thing contribute to or will contribute or ignite some type of feud between Jaylen Brown and mainstream media. I personally believe mainstream media was already attacking Jaylen Brown far before Bronny's comments.
I agree.
That's 100%.
They
That's
tried
100%.
splitting up Tatum and Brown. They're gonna do it even
Yep.
more now.
They perfect example, Trunks, from the typical thing of who team is it? Oh, now Jaylen Brown is the highest paid player. Did he deserve it? That all these narratives started from mainstream media. And the crazy thing about it, right? Jaylen Brown don't have no beef to mainstream media because if he did, he would have wrote a thank you letter personally to every single media voter who voted for him on NBA team last season. And so I just want to make this clear: being having a disagreement or quote unquote back and forth with a media personality does not mean all of mainstream media is against you. Now Stephen A is against him. I can't speak on it. That it's weird. I don't know the exactly reasons why, but it rhymes. I'm just gonna say this. It rhymes with Punk Manson, and I'm just gonna keep it at that. I'm gonna keep it at that. But Herm, what you think about this before we move on to the next one, man? Because apparently Bronny ain't showing how much he's a pro in these summer league games, brother.
Oh man, hey, with Bronny James, bro. Unfortunately with the brother, man. I'm gonna get deep with this with Bronny James. I think he's a natural athlete, but when it comes to just being a natural basketball player and great basketball player, that's just not him. He doesn't have the work ethic. I think his real passion sturdy is video gaming. They posted him winning a game tournament the other day on Modern Warfare. They showed it. So I think that's his true passion. Sometimes it's the difference between liking to do something than loving to do something. And I think Bronny James like to play basketball, but I just think he loves it because he got all the resources in the world for the things that he lacked in. He had got all the resources to work on those things. Phil Handy, one of the best trainers in basketball. Hell, you could have tightened up on all the skills that you're struggling with right now. Could have been did that in high school. LeBron been with the Lakers since 2018. You could have been tightened all that up. So it shows you that he doesn't have that same drive. He doesn't eat, sleep, and basketball like his father did. End of the day, you guys, Bronny James, it shows that he just not committed to the game with what he's just been displaying out there. His true passion is video gaming. And there's nothing wrong with that. Like I told you guys, I said this weeks ago before he even played his first summer league game. Bronny James will retire once his father's retired from the NBA. And I told you guys, he will go into his true passion of video gaming. I told you guys this before he even played his first summer league game, that he's not that good. The skills that you need to play in the NBA by being a small guard, he doesn't have it. He doesn't have none of those skills. So, end of the day, like I told y'all, his true passion is gaming. That's his niche. That's what he loves to do. That's what he eats, sleeps, and you know what? Because when he's not playing basketball, but he's not at practice, his ass on the game. It's documented that his ass be on the game. Video game. So end of the
Well,
day,
mhm.
that's just not Bronny James, bro. He's not built for this, man. He's not.
Now, Herm, I'm not pushing back at all in regards to his flaws. I don't think he's quote unquote NBA ready, but I'm not gonna say the man don't love the game. You don't you don't cry on your draft day when your name gets heard if you don't care about the game. You don't have countless, and I'll make this clear. You don't have countless peers of his class as well as former NBA players who've seen him work out, who've seen the progression say, "Oh, nah, you see it." It's not about love or commitment because sometimes you commit a lot of things to a certain particular activity. Don't necessarily mean you want to be elite at it. So in Bronny's case, the reason why he played video games, her, because of business too. It's not just a social thing; it's a business thing. One of the main reasons why he had some argue, I think he had the either one of, I think he had the or top three biggest NIL deal on a short time in college is because of his gaming. A lot of people don't know, bro. There's an audience for advertisement and sponsorship in that gaming community, and he's definitely ain't
Definitely.
the only. He definitely ain't the only pro basketball player that plays video game and gets sponsored from other things that comes with that, like on Twitch. Matter of fact, you notice anything? Oh no, matter of fact, shout out to Kenyon Martin because Kenyon Martin has a son who made the NBA, and he said he literally repeated multiple times on Gilbert Arenas' podcast that all KJ do is play basketball and video games. He don't go to the club. He don't go to no parties. This dude don't go to bowling. All he do is play basketball and video games. So I can't just say because Bronny uses some of his off time to play video games, meaning he don't love the game. Sometimes, you can love multiple activities. Sometimes, you can do what you love primarily and still do other things too. And let's be honest, and you should definitely look up to this. That man made multi-million-dollar deals with sponsorships just playing a video game. So to me, that's just business. But what you think, Herms? What you think about Herms? What you think of H? What you think about Herms comments? And we're gonna come to you next, kid.
Yeah, to be honest, I actually agree with him 100%. I I think, how can I put it? Like her, no, probably like Hearn said, he likes the game, but he don't love the game. There's a lot of footballers, a lot of not even footballers, athletes in general, basketballers, footballers, soccer players, whatever. They like the game, but they do it because at the end of the day, it can pay a lot of money, but they don't love it. So, for example, you brought up that he was crying at the draft day, but let's give another example with Ryan Garcia. Ryan Garcia knocked out Luke Campbell, and he was crying after he knocked out Luke Campbell. You think he loves boxing? He don't love boxing. He loves the money. Same way with Bronny James. At the end of the day, I agree with him. I don't think it will be he will retire like straight away when his dad does, but I think he'll retire shortly after. And I don't think his dreams to go into gaming. I think he's gonna be an influencer, like the what's that short black guy called, man, who's doing a lot of influencing now. I forgot his name
Castanet.
anyway. You got the
Castanet.
yeah, that's the one. Yeah, the ice show speeds, that guy, all of those type of people, because that's the for this generation right now, that's the way to become famous. That's the way to become a mogul. That's the way to get generational fame that way. So at the end of the day, basketball to him is just a platform. And you know what? Like, forget all the hate. Like, I'm just gonna look at it from like just a realistic view. Shout out to LeBron James, man, for putting his son on a platform at the end of the day. Your son is, I don't even think he's a top 2000 basketball player coming into the draft. But you got your son into the NBA. You got him a long-term deal. You got him 7 million over 4 years. I don't know how. Oh, I'm never gonna see majority of us on this call or on this show right now are never gonna see 7 million. This kid's got it at the age of 19, 20, man, and he's gonna make a lot more. So at the end of the day, when it comes to the business of the game, I got to shout out LeBron James for that. But in terms of skills, nah, Bronny's trash, man. I'm not even gonna lie, man. Bronny's trash. I can't see him getting any better, man. I think he's at first I thought he was gonna be as good as Gary Payton Jr. I don't even think he's gonna be that good now. I think he's gonna be worse than that.
Dang,
Like,
he capped out.
yeah,
He capped out H at the age of what? What Bronny, like 20? He capped
bro.
out.
You are what you are, man.
Yo,
That's how that
what it
works
was
out.
for
Okay.
what it was for me, where I think he capped out was he's for me, he's trying to, how can I say, it's like he's trying to mirror his dad, but at 6 foot. So for instance, he'll do the chase down block. I love that. But then there'll be plays where the play will blow back. blow by him, but instead of recovering, he kind of, how can I say, he try and hit check the person and try and move them into the center. But then these centers are not athletic enough, and then all he does is just stand and wait, and then he's got his hands on his hip, just like his dad. So I'm thinking, bro, at this level where you are now, you've got to be hustling all over the court. You can't like at the end of the day, you've got to be showing everything. You got to be showing right hand, how can I say, right technique in terms of intercepting the passing lanes. You got to be showing that you can head screens. You got to be showing that you can go over screens, fighting through screens. You got to be showing all the dirty work and especially the shot. The shot, his shot's terrible right now. And Lamont already came on the platform and already said, like, I believe that Fred Van really went to his college where he coaches currently and said that if you want to make it at the next level at the NBA game, you've got to have a shot. If you're 6'2" and under, you've got to have a shot because you got to keep the defense honest. So if he doesn't have a shot, man, he's not a threat. I don't see him being a playmaker. I don't see him being an elite defender. So if he doesn't have a shot, he's got nothing really. He's just there for how can I say, for chills and vibes, man. For just the
He's there for
Netflix series,
business.
man. What LeBron's gonna get. That's
He's
all
there
he's
for
there. He's just
business.
there for the next. Yeah, man. He's there for the Netflix series, man. So I don't see him getting any better. The only way I can see him get, if he gets better, I'm gonna be even more suspicious now. We see he gets better. If I see his shot gets a lot better, I see him start dunking or jumping over 7-footers and all that. I'm gonna be even more suspicious, man, because what I've seen in this summer league, this is some of the worst. At the end of the day, he's a second round draft pick, so I can't expect any better. Like, let's be real. But this is
Exactly.
some of the worst. This is some of the worst. This is some of the worst basketball I've seen for a player getting this much publicity. I put it that way.
Hey, but I don't wanna hear about because he's second round. His father, one of the goats of the NBA in the NBA history, said his son better than half the league. His son could start for the Lakers right now. This is what the GOAT in many people's eyes said. So, at the end of the day, if this so-called GOAT say his son is ready for the league, his son is better than half the league, his son could get major minutes with the Lakers right now. I'm gonna take his word over anybody else's word. And guess what? I put stock into what LeBron James said. At end of the day, he hasn't lived up to none of the stuff that LeBron James has said
Ah,
about his son. He hyped us up thinking that his son was gonna be good, but guess what? His son is trash. He's terrible. He is terrible.
before before I get into Bronny's summer league performances, I just want to let this be known. I think a lot of people are either being hypocritical or being ignorant of second round draft picks in the history of it. It's that simple. Like every second round draft pick in NBA history was a project. Every single one of them. That's why they don't get guaranteed deals for the most part. That's why they don't get it outright for getting drafted. But you have said that though, H. Let's be honest. Let's be 100% blown on the table. The main reason why he's getting this much attention because his dad is still playing in the league. His dad is one of the most polarizing basketball players we had in NBA history. That's why he's getting this much attention. Because if people was consistent, people would be have the same uproar by another rookie who actually had just as bad stats as Bronny. He got a multi-year deal, but people don't even know his name. If people really cared about that, right, they will be covering the other lottery picks in summer league instead of focus all their time on Bronny. H, go through your own algorithm, brother. In terms of like, just look up, okay, summer league prospects. The first 5 tabs is gonna be about Bronny, not about Alex Starr, not about Donovan from the Portland Trailblazers, not about dudes that's balling out. People are intentionally going away from the quote unquote good players just to focus
Shout
on
out to
one guy
Gill, man.
because of his son. Let's keep it real. So that's why I think people are either with the coverage of Bronny is either pure hypocrite, it being a pure hypocrite, or being ignorant of the process of second round draft picks.
Sturdy, it's a lot of nepotism in the league. You got Van Baker's son is playing the summer league right now. He only averaged 2 points a game. Coming into the NBA, coming into the summer league when he played college. You got Jameer Nelson's son as well playing in the summer. The difference between Van Baker and Jameer Nelson that they didn't do what LeBron James did. They did not give their sons any shine. They did not make any comments, bold statements like LeBron James said about Bronny. If it wasn't for that, if Bron was quiet about Bronny and not say that he's definitely better than some of the guys that he watching in the NBA currently right now, he would not get the backlash that he's getting. So,
Herm,
so
let's not be
end
disingenuous,
of the
bro.
day,
Let's not be
Van
disingenuous,
Baker
bro.
didn't come out and say that
Herm,
his son gonna be balling.
let's
Jameer
not be
Nelson didn't come
disingenuous,
out and
dog.
say his
Herm,
son gonna be
Herm,
balling. LeBron
don't
James
be.
brought this
Let's not do
scrutiny
that, dog.
on his son. That's LeBron
Herm, that's
James'
cap.
fault, man.
Herm. I'm
Hey,
not
I got
saying.
Chat
I'm not
GTP.
saying. I'm not saying.
I can pull
Herm.
it up on
No,
Chat
no.
GTP, sturdy.
No,
Don't test me. Don't test me.
I'm not saying, I'm not saying, I'm not saying Bronny has, LeBron James has no responsibility or culpability at all for the amount of attention that Bronny's receiving. But let's not cap. Let's not cap her. Bronny's going to get this level of scrutiny no matter what LeBron said, bro. We all, bro, this dude been in the league for
I
20
don't
years. We
believe
all
it.
know the type, for her, stop it, bro. We all know the type of coverage LeBron gets, bro. That nigga sneeze wrong, niggas gonna cover it. Like, let's stop it, bro. Bro, let's be honest. Some of your peers and dudes that got fired recently from FS1, we gonna get to that later in the show, was salivating on the narratives they could make money on LeBron James' son. No matter what LeBron said, the fact that he has a son that has potentially going to the league, people's gonna eat off that regardless. They was going to hate. They was going to make narrative. They was going to cover him regardless because he's LeBron James' son. Let's not cap, Herm. It's not because what LeBron said. Like let's not cap. Like come on, bro. Like let's keep it real with you, bro. Like come on, man. But anyway, like in terms of that, right? In terms of Bronny James' performances, those who don't know that so far in the summer league, I think Bronny is about 5 for 26, a total of 15 points. This is in 3 games. A total of 15 points in total. He's averaging about 1 block and 1 steal. In my opinion, as a project, he's actually on decent pace, in my opinion. You can see the potential defensively. You can see the IQ, and obviously you can see the athleticism. I do agree with H. His best path to victory is to develop a 3-point shot. And in general, especially when we get to these other elite prospects, the lottery picks who have been underperforming in summer league, I just want to give people this disclaimer: summer league is not an indicator of what a player is going to do in the league. It's too short amount of games, and it's definitely not the same amount of competition. And in terms of style of play, majority of the time on summer league, teams are playing zone. That's not going to occur a lot in the NBA. So no matter what performance, whether how great a guy performing or how bad a guy performing, summer league is not a good indicator how he's going to perform in the league. But that's Bronny James stats and coverage for the summer league. Let me ask y'all something. Um, who stood out to y'all summer league, bro? Like who are some of the prospects that y'all been impressed with in the summer
Well,
league?
I'm gonna start off with the
I
guy that I'm gonna start off with the guy that should have been a top 10 pick in this draft. Terrence Shannon Jr. Been impressive to me.
Mm.
Been impressive to me in the summer league. To me, actually been looking like the best rookie in this class to me so far. I think Terrence Shannon Jr. have a great opportunity to make immediate impact for the Minnesota Timberwolves. I think that Minnesota did a great job by getting him and Dillingham. And also another guy I'm gonna add on to it because it's between Terrence Shannon Jr. and another guy that I thought he wasn't gonna be as good as he's showing right now. And he still could fool me when it comes to when he actually plays his first game. Mr. Shepard, man. Shepard from the Houston Rockets, man. He's been balling. He's looking like the next up and coming. A lot of guys now putting him in the same conversation. He could be the next Steph Curry from what people are saying. Shepard's been looking impressive as well. Been very efficient from the field. Been able to get his shot off at will. He's been making it look easy out there. So it's between.
You heard me cut out. H, what you think, man? Like, who are there any prospects that been impressed you so far, brother?
yeah. First things first, man. Shout out to No Chill Gill, man. Yeah. In terms of your comment, what you put on the screen, man, I need to see those videos, man, of of Bronny working out with you, man. I need to see it like at least in November, man. I know you can get him on track, man. I need to see those videos, man. Either on TikTok, Insta, whatever platform, man. I need to see faith, man. But shout out to you still. The person who's impressed me the most, the prospect, is Buzelis at Chicago Bulls. I don't know if anyone's seen his debut, man. 28 points, I believe it was, and he shot 50% from the three, and he was showing a lot of hops as well. And that was someone when we were talking about who we think is gonna be some of the who's got the best potential to be a star and sleepers in the draft. That was one of the guys I mentioned, Buzelis, and because he was from the around the Chicago area, I think again just being close to home helped him a lot, and he got him a lot more comfortable. But he's showing a lot of prospect right now. That's the main one. In terms of Terrence Shannon Jr., and I'm not really seeing too much of him, but I've been hearing a lot of good stuff. I seen Reed Shepherd, and he looks a lot better than what I thought. But then again, when it comes to Duke's bench players always seem to be sleepers. I remember when Devin Booker, he used to be on the bench for Duke as well, and then when he came to the NBA, he was cooking. So it seems that Duke always have because they play a system and they always have higher level talent, man. They kind of how can I say dial in the players a bit more to play into the system rather than letting them go and just honing their skills. But when they come to the NBA, they really get to shine. Again, Alex Sar's impressed me as well. As much as people are laughing at the 0 for 15, man, forget about that
What?
side. Like he's impressed me in terms of not the
Oh
offense. The
hell no.
offense. So I'm not talking about the offense, bro. I'm talking about certain things like, for instance, the way he moves on the floor. Again, he moves at how can I say at an NBA level. He's very mobile. His offense is terrible, but in terms of his switchability and defense, in terms of doing a lot of the weak side blocks, and he's actually active on the boards, that actually impresses me. I'm not gonna lie and say it doesn't. I don't think he's going to be a star or anything, but I think again he's going to be a high level role player. I don't think he's going to be a boss anyway. But that's just me.
I do think Sar is going to still be a good player. He's still showing even good defense now. Well, offensively, you missed me with that one, bro. Like he's his jump shot is inconsistent. He don't like no physicality in what so way, shape, or form. From a space up game to setting screens to even like contesting rebounds. He don't like physicality at all. Don't touch me. Like that's what Sar is doing. So I think he's going to transition to that four role over time in his career. The defense still there in my opinion, but overall, nah, I don't. Nah, I don't think Sar. I don't think Sar is what you depict him to be, especially
But
offensively. But mhm.
sorry, bro. I never seen him as a five. I thought he's been playing the four. He's been playing the five in summer league, but I view him as a four. And
Yeah, yeah,
like I said, in terms of his how he glides on the court, man. Like at the end of the day, certain things on the court you need at the end of the day. Height and athleticism is something you can't teach and you can't buy. Once you have that, you can work on the rest. He played in the Euro League again, and even in the Euro League, he didn't have a lot of minutes there. So he's learning the game right now, but he's got the physical tools to kind of develop. What he needs to develop really is a consistent jumper, and he needs to develop really a dribble drive. Really, he doesn't even have that. And I agree with you. He avoids the physical contact on offensive rebounds, but on defensive rebounds, he's got enough athleticism to get the ball. So I think he's again. I don't see him as a star or anything, but I see him as a high impact role player, especially from the four position.
Yeah, I mean, I think they drafted him just off of potential base. I don't think they drafted him because they knew he was gonna be immediate impact. So I do not expect immediate impact for Czar. But it was very piss poor to go 0 for 15 in the summer league game when you 7 feet. When you 7 feet going over 15, that is alarming. That draws red flags. And honest to God, honestly, bro, he's gonna be a buzz for us coming to living up to a hype of a second overall pick. But can he be playing the pros for 10 years possibly? Yes. Before him being living up to expectations of a number 2 overall pick, I think he will be a buzz though.
But Hearn, you gotta think about it though. All drafts are not the same, man. Like that's what I've come to realize. Being a number two, being a number two in a quote unquote weak draft would be like in a strong draft, you'd be probably outside the top 10. So you can't grade everything the same level. It's just like, for instance, Kenya Martin's draft. I think Kenya Martin was the number one overall pick, I believe. But did he live up to the expectations of a number one overall pick? If you compared
No.
it to another draft, no, exactly. But he was a high impact role player.
Yeah,
So
he definitely
it's
a good
that
player.
type of
But I ain't gonna say this about Kmart. He did make immediate impact on the Nets. You gotta remember,
Yeah.
he was very young when they made it to those back-to-back finals runs.
yeah,
So
that's what I said. He was a high
Yeah,
impact
that's what I'm
role.
saying.
That's what I
He
said.
was a
He's a
good
high
he
good
impact.
player.
actually made immediate
Yeah,
impact.
Good
I
player.
don't think Zargo
yeah,
do that.
that's what I'm
To be
saying.
honest, with you, he's the second best player on them finals runs with the Nets. If you're keeping it
Yeah,
real.
yeah, he was. He was. If bar the injuries, if he didn't get injured, he probably would have been
But he
able
wasn't
to
injured around
extend his
that
career.
time. He wasn't injury riddled around that time when they was making those runs. The Nets was very
Yeah,
damn good. They just were outmatched, man. You wasn't gonna beat Tim Duncan and the Spurs. They wasn't gonna beat Kobe and Shaq, so they was put in crazy situations. So I mean, end of the day, you can't expect Kenyon Martin to outplay Tim Duncan and Shaq. Those were the things that the Nets went through.
Oh yeah,
The guys that been the guys that been impressing me is since we talk about Alex Sarr, let's talk about the number 7 pick that actually cooked them and cleaned. Shout out to Lamont, bro, for being a Portland Trailblazers fan. I think you got one, Lamont. I think you got one, bro. We talking about a dude who in the last summer league gave you about 13 boards and 5 blocks and showed to be a little more NBA ready in comparison to Sarr last summer league game. I think Donovan Clingan is one of those dudes. He's one of those dudes that's impressing me. I'm gonna be honest with you. I wasn't really high on his offensive side like that. But you can see, even though he was only 3 for 10 last game, the shot selection was there. He was open for most of his shots. He was getting a lot of separation for most of his shots. It's just he was missing. So that's natural. That's cool. But another dude that's been impressing me lately, bro, is Leonard Miller, dog. The Timberwolves gonna be dangerous, man. They should not have me
I
this
agree.
many good young players, dog. Like this dude, yo, Herb, this dude dropped 22 points, my dude, and 2
He's gonna get some
blocks.
rotational minutes. He gonna get some minutes too. He gonna get some too.
Like that's the thing, Herb. Like the Timberwolves got too much young talent, bro. Like when you say he gonna get minutes, over who? They stacked.
Now,
Like
but see,
we can.
I think that's Minnesota's calling card though is to play that deep roster they're going to have now. Conley, I think he's gonna not play a lot of minutes in the regular season, and Russ McCall go get Dillahan go get a lot of opportunities.
yeah,
I think
definitely.
Minnesota would be able to. They got a luxury to grow their young players to the point where like I like Alexander Walker, but end of the day, Terrence Shannon Jr. got more of an upside to Alexander Walker. I like Mike Conley, but Mike Conley is not the Mike Conley he was with the Memphis Grizzlies. So they gonna end up Dillingham might end up developing into the point guard that they need. Like
Dillingham.
yeah, Dillingham. Yeah,
Yo, he cold
Dillingham.
as
I
hell.
apologize.
Yo, he
I
cold as hell,
apologize,
bro.
Dylan. I apologize. But
Yeah,
I expect Mike Conley to be a mentor to just teach him the ropes how to run the game, how to be a floor general, added with his offensive ability that he already has. So Minnesota, they got a luxury, bro. They gonna be great. They actually could possibly end up making some key trades that can end up making them even better if you get to the top development out those young guys that you got now. So Minnesota really in a great situation, man. They can give. Then you got one of the best bench players in the league, in Nas Reed. Man, hey, it's guys are living for Minnesota. they should be the favorites and come out the West. To be honest, them and OKC are the two favorites in my opinion.
Yeah, just on the back of that.
Minnesota, Karl Anthony Towns is going to get $60 million a year. He's got a super max, and Gobert is a $40 million a year contract. Minnesota has no cap space. Conley's going to be 36. Even if Edwards is better next year, Minnesota peaked last year. They're not going to be as good next season. Their roster is nowhere near the spacing OKC does. Chet and Jalen Williams are both going to get better. Minnesota's not coming out of the West. Minnesota doesn't have a single shot creator other than Anthony Edwards. Minnesota doesn't have a single player in their starting lineup who can consistently create their own shot from the perimeter other than Edwards. And that's why they got cooked by a Dallas team that wasn't even that good defensively.
We're not gonna fall for the trap. We're not gonna fall for the trap. Thank you for joining the panel, Brandon. We appreciate you. On the current topic we're talking about now, have any prospects impressed you so far in the summer league? Is there any, if it's not this summer league, is there any prospects that you think, in your opinion, should we look out for?
Yeah, no. So I mean, I'll talk about what I want, but that's what I wanted to come up for. Like, here's the thing with Bronny and the way he's.
Thank you, Brandon, for coming up, bro. We appreciate your service, man. I'm gonna give you one more chance, Brandon. I'm gonna give you one more chance, bro, because we're talking about we're not trying to do what everyone else do and just talk about all our attention on Bronny. There's great talent in this draft too. Like we just talked about Rob Dillingham, we just talked about Terrence Shannon Jr. We just talked about Dillingham. We just talked about a few guys, man. Alex Starr, like. We just spent a whole hour talking about Bronny. Let's talk about these other guys that's balling too, that's showing great promise. So, Brandon, I'm gonna give you one more time.
Knowledge, Brandon. Show your
Brandon, I'm gonna give you one more time. And Brandon, you can talk about any prospect besides Bronny. You can talk about other second round picks if you want. But nevertheless, because we're on this topic, Brandon, in your opinion, who are the up and coming prospects that we should look out for, brother?
No, I don't. I mean, Bronny is a summer league prospect. Not. I'll talk about what I want, but I think that. Look. My point is that Bronny's not even good.
Cool, Brandon. I appreciate you, brother. Unfortunately, Brandon, I dropped the link for you, bro. You had ample amount of time to talk about Bronny during the first hour of the show of us talking about Bronny, but now we're talking about other prospects. Now I'm not gonna lie, Brandon. Usually, I'll just completely drop you. We just continue on the show. But I'm a fair man. I know you're a very impulsive guy. So I'm gonna give you one more chance, man. One more chance, Brandon. Last time, bro. Are there any prospects that got drafted this year outside of Bronny that caught your attention? And any of them impressed you? Oh, he left. Unfortunately, he left. But nevertheless, that's the problem, bro. Like, hey, if you can't talk, like, what do you want me to do, bro? Like, it's a free range option. Like, there's so many options you had, bro. You can talk about anybody, but apparently, it's only.
Yo, he's something else, man. He's got problems, man.
Sturdy, like Bronny James' teammate, Mr. Dalton out of Tennessee, been looking.
Thank you.
Been looking great.
Yeah, Dalton's looking all right, man. Yeah, he's looking all right.
He's been looking
ready. He looking ready, though.
Steal, man. The Lakers got to steal. Man. I'm telling you, he's gonna be in the.
Nah, man. I don't know about no steal, bro.
Top 10. He's gonna be in the top 10. A 3-point shooter percentage this season. Watch what I tell you. The Lakers got
this season.
Okay, man.
All right. Herb, why you always taking it? Why you? They got to steal. But why you take it there, bro?
I ain't calling it a steal, man. I'm calling it the NBA rigging, man. Yo, the month was right, man, when he brought it up, man. The NBA, man, done a little rigging right there, man. For him to
Hold on, you can't say they rigging, bro. He was 17, my nigga. Like, so many teams could have picked him, though.
But he was supposed to go top 15, top 14.
He was supposed to go top 10. Top 10. It's supposed to go top 10, man.
He had teams, bro. You had teams in lottery that had 2 picks, multiple chances to get him. Why didn't they? Like
Yo,
I agree with you, bro. Dalton Connect is the perfect. Honestly, in my opinion, might be outside of Zach Edey, is the perfect rookie for the Lakers. He's ready. He's come in. He
exactly.
know how to play off ball. He's a great catch and shoot player. And on top of that, most importantly, he knows how to continue the advantage on a basketball game. Like he on the Lakers, AD gonna cause a lot of double teams. LeBron gonna cause a lot of double teams. So you're gonna need a guy who can not only knock down shots but keep the ball moving. And because the new coaching staff that JJ Redick hired, which we're gonna talk about later in the show too, that's exactly what JJ Redick looking for. Guys who can shoot, guys who can keep the ball going. Because as a 23-year-old, that's an advantage. A lot of people think there's a disadvantage of drafting a 23-year-old because they're quote unquote already a made product. They don't have the same level of potential as 19-year-olds, which is fair. But those guys typically be more NBA ready. So if you're a team like the Lakers, who has playoff aspirations, by some Lakers fans, championship aspirations, we ain't gonna talk about that now. Dalton Connect 4 is the perfect role rookie outside of Zach Edey for this Lakers team.
I
100%, man.
agree, and it's different things, and different sets that they can run with him. He can run off of screens that could give a better flow to the offense. While they're doing screen and rolls with AD and Bron, you can have Dalton running around the whole floor basically because they got to account for him. They cannot leave this man open at all. So I think he's gonna have immediate impact like Kyle Korver had on the Philadelphia 76ers when he got drafted. And when he was a rookie, I think he's going to have immediate impact like that, like Kyle Korver did. I think he's that much of an elite shooter. And I think that he going to fulfill his role to the best of his ability. You know what I'm saying? So that's the guy I compare him to, like a Kyle Korver. And I think he'll live up to that. Something that the Lakers haven't had in a long time for a shooter. They haven't had a legit shooter, I think, really since the LeBron era in the Laker
I know what
uniform.
you.
They
I
haven't
know what
had
you
a
mean.
legit shooter at all.
I was gonna say I know
Wait,
what you
what?
mean in terms of Kyle. In terms of Kyle Korver, I know what you mean, but I don't think Kyle Korver
Because he's
did.
white?
Kyle Korver.
I said
No,
in
I
the
know. I know
Bron
what.
era, I don't think that they ever had like an elite 3-point shooter in the Bron era for us, the Lakers. They
Oh,
had
okay,
good
for the
players,
Lakers.
they had good teams, but they never had an elite 3-point shooter. I
There
think
was that
Bron
one
finally
year.
got that now.
Yeah,
There
we
was
had the
that one year they
2020 year.
traded for nothing like that I think in 2022 I think was that year like they traded for nothing but like shooters. They just didn't ironically they wasn't shooting well
Wayne
season.
Ellington
It's
and them
crazy.
couldn't do nothing though. They were
Mm,
so much of a liability defensively, they couldn't even play him.
Yeah, that's a
yeah,
fact.
but I think he's gonna be big. I think he's gonna be better than Kyle Korver anyway. From how can I say a rookie standpoint, because I don't think Kyle Korver was that impactful. In all honesty, I don't think he was. I think you're remembering the Bulls Kyle Korver when he was like 5 years in. But when he first came in the league, he was a good shooter, but it took him a bit of time. I think he's going to be similar to for me Mike Miller. I think he's going to be like a Mike Miller type of guy.
That's even
I
a
don't
better
think he's
comparison. That's a better comparison.
yeah. I don't think he'll be rookie of the year, but I think in terms of he's physical for he's very physical actually. Actually, he's pretty jacked for a white guy, no homo pause all the way. But yeah, he's got athleticism, and I think defensively, obviously, I don't think he's going to be able to be locked down, but I think he's going to be able to hold his own. I don't think he's going to be a liability. I think he's definitely going to be able to hold his own. I just want to see in terms of is he going to start? Is he going to start, or is he going to come off the bench? I'm guessing he's probably going to have to win that spot from someone, and
I think you
hopefully,
got to start him though. I think you have to.
So who's coming off the bench then?
I think you need to put Austin Reeves at the role that he's best at. Austin Reeves was better coming off the bench. I
Nah,
think
bro.
Austin.
I rather start Hillbilly Kobe over D'Angelo. I trade D'Angelo in a heart. I ain't gonna
But
lie.
here, Billy Kobe is real good coming off the bench now. I'm thinking about what's
Hillbilly
best for him.
Hillbilly Kobe is just a team player, man. He's not a prima donna. Like D'Angelo Russell he is all vanity. Like in terms of when he comes off the pick and when he comes off the pick, he's deadly from the free. I ain't gonna lie. Especially when he gets hot. He reminds me similar of Nick Van Axel. When he gets hot, he's He's nearly unstoppable. But in terms of driving off the pick or mid-range game pull-up jumpers, it's iffy. It's hit and miss, and he's slow as well, man. And his defense is a
But H,
liability.
the reason I say bring Austin Reeves off the bench, the Lakers, half of the Lakers' problems for the most part be because of slow starts. I think you got Dalton in there. You'll have that shooter that you need in there. Not a guy that's streaky. Not a guy that has to get in the rhythm to get going like a D'Lo or Austin Reeves. you'll have a guy, you'll have a guy Dalton that always will command attention because you don't want him to get hot, period, because he that lethal of a shooter. So I think you start him. You put Austin Reeves at the role that he's done best in for the Lakers, which is coming off the bench. I think you get the best of Austin Reeves when you bring him off the bench, be your sixth man. I think he fulfills that role perfectly in the Laker uniform. I think you do it that way. You had that elite shooting to start out with. You won't get out to a slower start to the point where let's just say D'Lo missed his first four shots and they really need a bucket. Bron and AD command the defense. They kick it out. Dalton would be a guy that could start a run, that could break the streak of not scoring for certain trips. So I think the Lakers need to start him just so they can have better starts rather than keep Austin Reeves in the starting lineup. The which, when you look at his numbers, Austin Reeves is better coming off the bench than being a starter, even though his
Yeah,
averages are basically still the same. But
I was gonna say.
I think his effectiveness and impact though is far greater off the bench than starting though.
Now I was gonna say is the numbers don't really change really. I personally think in terms of setting a tone, Reeves will actually get after it defensively, which again, energy on defense transfers to the rest of the players, and his body language is always good. And at the end of the day, I'd rather prefer that than someone who is a streaky shooter. Streaky shooters for me can come off the bench. D'Angelo Russell for me, like one day he'll give you 40, the next day he's gonna give you 6 points, man. I don't need that. For me, that's a sixth man. Whereas with Austin Reeves, you know he's gonna give you high energy. You know he's gonna get after it defensively. You know his mood's not gonna swing. He's always gonna have a good positive attitude, and you can always pencil him in for at least 12 to 15 points a game. Like that's the minimum. He's never really gonna drop it below that. Whereas D'Lo is too sporadic. So I'd rather have the sporadic person coming off the bench, similar to like Jamal Crawford, that type of person where you can at least cross your fingers for an explosive night and have someone like have the whole of the starting lineup consistent. Because Reeves, at the end of the day, as much as I don't think he's an all-star or anything. I think what he brings is consistency, and I think you need that in the starting lineup. You need consistency rather than a sporadic person. That kind of messes up the flow of everything.
No, I agree. I agree. Before we move on, I just want to give a shout out to everybody in chat, man. Everybody watching, from T Killer to Black Mamba to Anthony Thunder, of course, Brandon Katz, one of our most active watchers. Anthony, Brian Green, was that Juice 24, Craig, Tiffany Haddish, of course, T Killer, Darian Hampton, Rap God Reloaded, Hoop Jargon, I saw you in earlier, brother. And of course, Gil Arenas for everybody. Shout out to everybody for supporting and get them likes up.
And
And of
also
course,
our
Andre
OG Wally,
76,
man.
man.
Our
Oh, of
OG.
course, I can't forget Wally Coyote, baby. But right now we're gonna drop the link again because we got some other pressing matters to get into, gentlemen. I'm so glad a certain brother of mine is on this panel because H, as a proud American, right? You have Herm, as a proud American, you have the utmost belief in Team USA. You understand not only how great Team USA can be, but you understand exactly the type of talent they already displayed in these scrimmages. For those who don't know, Team USA is doing multiple showcases. We have today there was actually a game between Serbia and the US. But did you know what happened? But did you know what happened?
Yeah, you
Herm,
know
can you
what?
let the people know Herm, can you let the people know what happened in regards to today's scrimmage against USA and Team Serbia?
It was easy work. It was only close in that first quarter. USA blew it out the water after that. I think sturdy. I think this game today actually got them going. I think that's the type of game that they needed because a lot of people view Serbia as a team that could make it tough for the U.S. and for the U.S. to exert their will, for the U.S. to be more focused than what they was against Australia and put it to Serbia. That was a big win. That was a big game. That was a statement game, Sturdy, for what's up and coming in the Olympics. And I think they can build on from that. That Team USA go get more confidence with that win, and I think that's gonna bring them more together. I think now they understand what they need to do, game in and game out, and I think Team USA will bring on the gold. The only worry that we do have, Sturdy, and we brought this up last week. The concerns with Joel Embiid. I think that's the thing that we got to watch out for. That's the thing we need to keep our eye on, and maybe we might have to go ahead and find a replacement for Joel Embiid to save him from himself, and also to give us the opportunity to have a big that can move better than what Embiid is moving. That will be better in drop coverage and pick and roll defense better than Embiid. A guy that will be consistent offensive. That will actually do the small things because we need a guy that will buy into doing the small things. We don't need him to try to put up 20 and 30 points. We just need a guy to do the small things, be a presence inside. And I think this is an opportunity. I think we need to move on from Embiid and we need to go ahead, call up and bring in Pablo, man. Go and get Pablo for the Magic, man. Come on through. And B just not healthy, y'all. He just not.
Pablo, man, Pablo. Wait. Pablo so coke, bro. Like Pablo, man. but H, but H, man, what do you think of the game that you are seeing on your screen right now? For those who don't, can you please remind the people what you said about potentially what Serbia could do and potential outcome of you Team USA? And then right after that, can you please give your comments of this game that we're watching now between Serbia and USA?
First things first, I said watch out for Serbia. But I said that Germany is gonna win it. I'm gonna be honest, man. Let me just give my honest opinion. I thought that USA were gonna win it. As soon as you got Embiid, man, I became the arch enemy of the USA, man. I ain't got no time for all of that bullying, man. I ain't got no that's overkill for me, man. This was overkill. Once you got Embiid, I started hating, man, and I'm voting against you. I'm wishing on the USA's downfall every single day. Every single day. So any team what plays them, I want them to win because this Embiid's too far, man. Too far, man. So I got Germany winning until anything else happens. But in terms of this game, man, it was a blowout, man. Let's be real, man. It was a blowout,
Oh,
and it's
blowout, H.
just
What you
unfair.
mean? It's the first quarter. Like it's a
Yo,
right as
bro,
you
yo,
see the
stop
screen.
it,
It's
man.
only
I
what?
know the result, man. Stop it, man. It was a blowout, man. It was
Oh,
like
what was the result,
105.
H?
It was like 105 to like 78 or something like that. It was something mad. It was something horrible.
What?
It was disgraceful, man. Yeah, Serbia let me down, man. But don't worry, man. The beam will light again, man. You ain't played Germany yet, so there's still more teams. You ain't played Greece yet. You ain't played France yet. So any team against the US, any team against I'm gonna be on prayer and fasting through the whole Olympics. Yo, man, praying, asking the Lord to just intervene and like something bad happens, man. Embiid is a sucker. Man. I thought, people. This is the saddest thing. People are angry about KD joining the Golden State Warriors. This is even worse. This is even worse. You got an African man born in Africa, rich, got his freedom, and he decided to be a slave, man. He decided to work he decided to work for America, man. Yo, man. He decided to go to the captors, man. I got no time for that, man. And you, man, you will love America because from the age of 3, man, when you was in kindergarten, you had to pledge allegiance to the flag, man. I pledge allegiance to the flag and say all of that stuff, man. That's brainwashing, man. I got no time for that, man. Boom Babylon all
Hey,
day,
Hold on,
every day,
every
man.
nation has their declaration and anthem. H, we ain't doing that. We are not
You're
doing that,
not,
bro.
you don't pledge no allegiance to the flag in the UK. Come to the UK, man. You don't have to do that, man. If you want to be free, man, come to the UK. If you want to pledge your allegiance, stay in America, man.
hey, here's the thing I said about Embiid. The only reason he wants to play because in the NBA he never gets past the second round. So this is his chance to win, man.
This
This
is
is his chance
soccer,
to
man.
win.
So
He's
his thing. I'm
pathetic,
pushing
bro.
against that, Herm. He wants. It's just simple, bro. He wants to win the gold. What's wrong with that? What's wrong with the player just joining the team that's going to give him the best chance to win the gold? 'Cause let's be honest. For those
Yo,
who don't know, in the last 10 Olympics, the last 40 years, the USA as a country has the most Olympic medals, and it's not even close. The closest competition is actually Russia, then China. Y'all, in case you don't know, the great country of Britain, they're like fifth in the last 40 years, the last 10 Olympics. So yes, bro, we just gonna continue our dominance. We were dominant on Dream Team when we had a slew of guys, including a guy, Patrick Ewing, who's from Jamaica. We were dominant for Dream Team 2 when we had Hakeem Olajuwon join our panel. Like we were dominant.
yo,
Like,
sturdy.
hold on, H,
I will sign out of this. You keep on going through the fraudster USA stuff with Patrick Ewing from Jamaica. I will
he is from
sign.
Jamaica.
I will
Heard
leave.
my captain.
I will.
Heard my captain.
I will.
Is
I will
Pat Ewing from
sign.
Jamaica? Yes or no?
Sturdy. I will
Hey,
sign out this. I will
same
sign out this chat. You know,
Herm,
Sturdy.
am I capping?
Sturdy.
Just
I will
God,
sign
strike
out
me
this
down
chat,
if I'm
bro.
lying, dog.
third in that cap.
Yo, I
But
will
Herm, I
sign
mean,
out right
but
now,
H,
man. You need to
that's who
stop,
we
bro.
are. H, that's American culture. That's what we do. We're a gumbo of multi different cultures, bro. Don't hate,
Yo,
bro.
man.
Just be like a good loser and appreciate the dominance, man. It is what it
Yo, man.
is. So we go,
Yo,
and
man.
here's the beautiful thing, H. Here's the beautiful thing. Shout out to Ishmael for mentioning in the chat. Shout out for True the King for mentioning it earlier. We just not even our best version yet, dog. KD has not played. One of our most experienced Olympians, one of the best scorers in the league, has not even played yet, bro. But then again, I'm talking a little too much. I think you should enjoy the highlights and marinate in that Serbia take. Is that a three from Bam or Booker? Oh,
Hey,
that's Booker, another elite guard
Bam
that
was knocking
that
him down.
Yo,
But
man.
Snub, we got a new
Sturdy.
guest in here,
Bam was
man.
knocking them
Is
down. Curry was knocking them down. Bro, Braun was catching oops. What is the world gonna do, my nigga? what are
yo,
they gonna do, bro?
sturdy. When the USA lose, man, I'm gonna come on. I'm gonna play Adele. You could have had it all, man. I'm gonna play
Hey,
that the
you
whole.
heard? Hey,
You
I mean,
could
Herm, you
have
hear him?
had it
Herm, you hear him? Herm, you
Yeah,
all.
hear him?
yeah.
I'm gonna play it,
He
bro.
hoping,
I'm
he
gonna
But
play
praying,
it, bro.
he
We
wishing on
got
a
a
star.
new guest. We got a new guest on the panel, man.
Oh yes, we do, bro. So shout out to man Rudy Hood, man. Like, what's going on, Rudy? What do you think of the quote unquote, lack of a better term, ass whooping that we displayed in the Team USA versus Serbia that you seen on your screen right now?
What's good, y'all, man? I hope y'all good. I kind of said this yesterday on that other stream that USA is already overpowered. See, I respect Joel Embiid because he said he wanted to play for USA because his son was born in America. He wanted to honor his fans, which are mostly American. So I get that. Do I agree with him actually playing? Only because of his injury history? Maybe not. I feel like he should put his team in the best position to win, talking about the 76ers, especially since they got Paul George and he's kind of injury prone himself. But other than that, honestly don't think that Team USA needs Joel Embiid. They were going to win anyways. If you watch the game yesterday, Steph Curry by himself had like the first 9 points. Like he was whooping on Serbia by himself. You can't name another country's first starting five. You can't really, maybe Team Canada, but that's about it. Team Canada had the best odds, according to Vegas, according to ESPN. They had the best odds to beat Team USA. And what happened in that exposition game? They got, excuse me, they got whooped. They got
They
whooped.
only lost by one though, so I don't consider that an ass whooping. But
Oh,
USA did.
I'm talking about Team Canada. They
No, we
lost
talking
by
about Serbia.
oh
No,
Serbia.
yeah, Serbia. Serbia got they Serbia got
Yeah,
the ass whooped, to be honest.
Serbia got blown out, but Team Canada lost by like 15 points. And then if you watch the game, you could see the clear difference in competition. Like Jamal Murray do not look the same. He don't look the same when he's not with Jokic. He just don't. And Jokic don't look the same when he's not with his team. It was just like, you know what I'm saying? Like, and then, but like I said, when Anthony Davis jumped on the court, you seen the clear difference defensively. What he did from Joel Embiid when Joel in the first two games, you know, you could tell
I
Joel was
agree.
kind of you could tell Joel was kind of foul baiting. You know what I mean? Trying to get some fouls and stuff. Got to adjust to Olympic rules, but I mean, just in these exposition. Oh my God, I cannot say that word. But just in these exhibition games, they're just warming up. I had said it the other day when people were criticizing them winning by 6 points against who was that, Australia. I said these guys are coasting. Trust me, when the Olympics start, no one's beating them. They're going for the gold. That starting five of Jason Tatum, LeBron James, Steph Curry, Drew Holiday, and Joel Embiid, they're running through everybody. And
I
then you got
think
to
you got to start AD though. I think you got to move AD to the starting lineup though.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But for me, it's like you can mix and match any way you want because no one's beating them. Like no one's. What I saw was the best American players from all these different teams in the NBA, an American sport or American originated sport, going out there on the floor just trying to figure it out. And I think they got like two more games left. So I do believe within these two
Hmm.
games, you're starting to see the chemistry build now. You know what I'm saying? Like it may not look like anything to us because we're watching through TV, but these guys don't see each other all year. They see each other about 3, 4, 5 times a year, and that's about it. So we're starting to see the chemistry actually build up, and I'm liking what I'm seeing, man. But yeah, that's about like.
Oh,
Oh,
that's great take from me, brother. The great take. But Herm mentioned something that I think that's a question we should ponder upon. Who should be the starting five for Team USA, yo? In y'all opinion, who should be the starting five? And to just sweeten up the pot a little bit, we're going to include KD when he gets back. So, in y'all opinion, with KD at y'all disposal, who should be the starting five for Team USA? Let's start with our own newly acquainted fan of Team USA, H from the UK, brother. Who should be the starting five of Team USA, man?
Yo, sturdy man, go drink some bleach, sturdy. I'm new. Drink some bleach, bro. But yeah, let's get into the starting lineup, man. First, at the point, Steph, two guard. I put Ant-Man. I think he's the
Mhm.
best two guard in the NBA, in all honesty. At the three, Tatum. At the four, put Bron. At the five, AD.
Okay. Herm, any objection?
I think you just keep everything the same, basically, and just replace Embiid with AD. I think you keep everything the same. Even when KD comes back, bring his ass off the bench. Let him get back acclimated slowly, and depending upon the matchup, you probably start KD. Like you go against Canada or something, you might need to start KD because you need that firepower for Canada. Because Canada could get going, obviously. So you might need him for the firepower. But outside of that, I keep the lineup as is and just replace AD with Embiid. That'll be my starter five.
Okay. What you think? What you think, Hood? Our Hood. What you think? Who should be
oh
our
no,
starting five for Team USA?
yeah, I know seeing that it's Ruddy Hood. I know seeing that name kind of confused people a little bit, but it's Ruddy Hood. But no, I think I kind of like they starting five already: LeBron, Steph Curry, Drew Holiday, Jason Tatum, and Joel Embiid. I mean, I would change out if just because Jason Tatum for Kevin Durant maybe. I like Anthony Edwards coming off the bench because just like with Team Canada, he just brings. I mean, with Team Australia when they was playing Team Australia, he brought that spark off the bench. Like he brings a real spark. So kind of like they're starting five how it is. I would go with that. I think, like I said, either way they're going for gold. So
All right. I pretty much agree with Herm. I think Herm and H. I think Curry started the point and started two. Tatum started three for now. Braun at the four, 80 at the five. For that starting five, we did good lineup. We can shoot, we can rebound, we still play defense. We don't lose our disadvantage in terms of that. I do think it's better to have Tatum come off the bench than opposed to KD. But this is obviously after KD, ramps up and get in shape. I think he'd be a better starter than Tatum. Not to say he's better than Tatum or whatever. It's more so I think Tatum fits with that second group better than KD. I think I think and I think depending on the matchup, like say we see Canada again in the medal games, I would not be opposed to starting Drew with Curry instead of Ant. Only simply because Canada run the offense, they run a lot of pick and roll. And so even you saw these highlights with the Serbia game where our screen navigation at times it can be lackadaisical. We get caught up in that. So I think on the potential matchups, we play Curry and Tatum, LeBron, AD. And I think that should be the starting five, at least until KD comes back. But nevertheless, right now we're going to move on to something special, man. Unfortunately, on top of good news, we also had abundance of bad news, right? And one of the bad news is for it's for a certain set of people that have a certain perception of the game of basketball that some might say are needed in basketball discourse or had an important role in basketball discourse. All right, do you think I know? Do you know what I'm talking about? Like, do you know what I'm talking about?
I'll repeat that again, bro. Repeat that again. My
No, I,
daughter
I,
was
I was
saying
saying,
something.
no, I was just saying, like, as much as good news we had this, this off season, we also had some bad news, right? And this particular bad news, I think, is bad for a certain set of people, man. Like, certain set of people really admire this guy, really look up to this dude, and with the bad news that we heard, it's going to change the landscape for some people might say, or some people say it's an omen for what's to come. You know who I'm referring to?
Oh, you slick caught me off guard with this one. I'm trying to see where you going there with this one, Stir.
Oh man,
I,
Herm,
I,
Herm.
I,
I
I know
don't,
where he's going with it, man. I know where he's
Herm,
going
Herm.
with it.
The what I'm referring to is Skip Bayless, man. Like Skip Bayless, brother.
Come on, Skip.
Skip, Skip is getting
Skip,
Skip, man. Like
skip,
this
skip.
Skip, like he's getting Skip, man. Like let's keep it real. Let's keep it real. Let's keep it real. Let's keep it real. Skip Bayless, whether you hate him, whether you love him, Skip Bayless is a legend. Yes, he is a legend in this sports world, people. From the originator, the OG, somebody call him the Ric Flair of LeBron haters, the original, the dirtiest player of the game. This dude, let's be honest, he kind of pioneered a certain style in terms of talking. Not just hating on LeBron. That's the main dish. But when you
Skip.
go to when you go to the appetizers, when you go to the security board, man, like this dude was hating on Luca. This dude was hating on Troy Aikman. Herb, you know exactly why the reason why he ain't on Troy Aikman.
Yes,
Skip left.
boy.
Skip Bayless left in I like a better term, a unique legacy on the game of basketball discourse. Skip Bayless, in my opinion, Herm, he inspired a lot of individuals, Herm. He inspired a lot of content creators, Herm. And so, for those who don't know, Skip Bayless, towards the end of this offseason, I think in this year, he's planning to separate from FS1. After the departure of Shannon Sharp, we seen the show quality go down. The views was plummeting on a weekly basis. Why do you think, Herm, out of all people, I think you should have the honor to start off this segment, bro. Why do you think Skip is getting Skip, Herm? Right? Why is it all coming to an end? Where did
Uh,
Skip go wrong?
sometimes it's just your time. Sometimes, sometimes your run ends, and every great run and every great success, it always comes to a down end. It always come a time you got to step away. But I think in Skip instance, he got it his own way. Skip let his ego overshadow how he handled the situation with Shannon, which ultimately led Shannon to separate himself. 'Cause I think Shannon is one of those loyal dudes. Like if Skip would have treated him a little right, if Skip would not let his ego get in the way of certain situations, Shannon would still be with FS1 right now. That's how loyal of a guy Shannon Sharp appears to be. Um, but end of the day with Skip, we do gotta give him his flowers to the point where this YouTube shit will be happening if it wasn't for Skip Bayless. All these other shows that you see, the first takes, first things first. All these podcasts that we're seeing, it comes from the fact that Skip Bayless brought. I hate to say, it, hate to admit it, he brought the barbershop talk to the sports world, to the ESPNs, to the Fox ones. He brought that because that's all it basically was. Did he? Is he gonna go off like the way we would go off? No, but he brought that type of energy to where you just argue about sports topics, to where you had dialogue talking about something that you love in sports. So we do gotta give Skip his credit, but Skip ultimately, in my opinion, sturdy. Did get in his own way with his ego because I don't think First Take is that good right now. And I think if Skip stayed humbled, if Skip would not have let his ego get in the way of Shannon, they probably had the best show right now, and the speeder would still be going right now. But with Skip getting in his own way to where he got in his own way to leaving First Take, um, to the point where now that he had to swallow his pride and let guys like the Michael Irvins, the Richard Shermans, the Keyshawn Johnsons, even Paul Pierce to the degree run the show. He really couldn't even be the aggressor once he once was because if he didn't, he would not have had a show because nobody would be willing to work with him because of how he loves to generally do things. So I mean, all good things come to an end. Skip had a hell of a run that nobody didn't see because he gets a lot of hate. He gets a lot of slack. But end of the day, Skip opened the doors for a lot of us that brings content on YouTube. He brought a lot for the people that are on these networks now that is dropping content and having dialogues or just having sports discussions. We gotta give him his credit, man. But Skip, your
Herm,
time run out. Retire, bro. Fall to the sunset, my nigga. Is over.
Herm, that was beautiful, man. The way you honored a pioneer of your style and your peer style of content, bro. That's why, especially to me, your whole monologue it hit hard when you said us. You know what I'm saying? Like Skip Bayless inspired your group, brother, and like he showed that you can be a prof. You can show you get a lot of profit and fame from just trolling bad takes, man. Like that's a skill. Like, let's keep it real. Like everybody can't do that naturally. Skip Bayless will look you dead in your eye, H. You can be one of the greatest of your sport, and he'll look you dead in your eye and say, "You're not a Hall of Famer." To your face. To your face. That takes courage, man. That takes courage. But H, what do you think of in your reaction of Skip getting skipped, man? Like what's your impression of Skip's legacy? Did he leave an impression on you? Was he like what's the word, brother?
Yo, first things first, shout out to the Green Goblin, man. He had a long run. He had a very long run. Because Skip Bayless looked like the Green Goblin, man, in the original Spider-Man. I ain't gonna lie, man. That's who it reminds me of. But in all honesty, Hearn said it the best. Like he's one of the he's the originator, he's the podfather when it comes to this. When it comes to where he started with cold pizza. And I think just after cold pizza finished, I think the last episode, and then they brought SAS on Stephen A. Smith. That's when I started watching First Take. They used to have the black girl on, man. I forgot her name now, man. Kerry Champion. I thought that's when I first got into this debate space. Really, it was through that show. And if it weren't for Skip, all of this what we see now wouldn't really be here. But let's be honest, man. Skip got in his own way, as Hearn already said. His ego got too lifted up. That Oklahoma unconscious bias, aka racism, started rising up in him to the point that he told Shannon, "Put your glasses back on. Put your glasses back on." To the point, when he said those words, it was over, man. It was over. Shannon felt like he was a slave back in Alabama, man, when he heard Skip say that. And at the end of the day, the cock came home to roost, man. The rooster came home, man. And at the end of the day, the energy you put out there, man, is what you receive, man. What you sow, you reap. And at the end of the day, Skip's reaping what he's sown out there. He's burnt a lot of bridges with people. Burnt bridges with Jenny Taff. I think he used to go with a back and forth with her. Burnt bridges with Joy Taylor. Burnt bridges with a lot of people. Burnt bridges with ESPN. And he's 72 now at the end of the day. He's had a long run. But now it's just time to just ride into the sunset. He's done what he can. And personally, I think this space now, this content space has changed. Skip could get away with the trolling, could get away with it, but especially in the social media streets, LeBron's actually glorified in these streets, and now those type of personalities are actually coming to the mainstream now. So you got the Nick Wrights, you got the Shannon Sharps, and yeah, so Skip's just outdated, man, and the new models are coming through. You've got It Is What It Is podcast. You got even the NBA players doing their own podcast to tell their narrative, to tell their story. And you've got Shannon Sharp, obviously, with Nightcap. You got Girls Arena, which is blowing up. So Skip's just outdated, and like with everything, man, you've got to just like the when the PS2 came out, man. I thought it was the best game ever, man. Until the Xbox came out, and then the PS4 came out, PS3, and so forth. So he's just outdated, and yeah, salute as always, man. But eventually, the show must go on, and it's going on without him.
I agree. I agree, H. I agree. And
Now y'all saying retirement, right? But what do y'all think of what Lamont said in regards to like Skip? Because at the end of the day, Skip does have a following. Now, for those who don't know, unfortunately, he hasn't capitalized on that following. He didn't do what Stephen A. Smith did, which was build your own audience on other platforms like YouTube. For those who don't know, I think Skip Bayless on his own personal channel, that dude have 160 subs, bro. 100, my fault, 160K subs. That's it. That's about subs that Lamar has. So when Tiffany Ned say Lamar should give him a job, hey man, he could. And on top of that, let's be more honest. Like I don't think that lane dies. To be honest with you, I don't think his style of sports breakdown or quote unquote analysis it would never die because there are always people like that perceive the game from that level of emotion. But what do y'all comments on like of Lamont of comment right now, which is I think Skip needs to drop his pride and come back to ESPN. FS1 just wasn't it for him. What do y'all think,
uh,
man? Like the Skip has a little more in the tank. Yeah, we old, but we still see
Nah,
old dudes still getting it, still grinding.
nah. I think he's burnt the bridges, man.
I think
How
I
he
think
left.
I think his time passed because even if you brought him back to ESPN, he's gonna want it to be a certain way. And I think that let's just say you want to do the Skip and Stephen A. Part reunion with Shannon on top of that as well. Skip still to me in that aspect because he basically brought those two up. He's gonna still feel like he's the big dog in this situation. And I think that's too risky to do that. I don't think Skip could humble himself to just play the background, be cool, that you back reunited with Skip and Shannon and play his role. And then even if you do give him his own show, what he's going to draw on ESPN. I don't think it's gonna draw the viewership that you would need for him if you even bring him back to ESPN unless you pair him. I still don't see it, even if you go that route. So I mean, I think his time just passed. He is the innovator of everything. He did start this. He is the reason why you got these current players or former players want to start their own podcast so they can control their narratives and get their side of how things are viewed when it comes to them and when it comes to professional basketball, football, whatever sport we're talking about at the time as well. So that's what I'm saying. Skip actually he laid this blueprint. He did a lot for a lot of people, whether they like it or not, whether you hate the man or whether you generally respect him and like him. Skip did a lot for everybody that you support. Anybody that has a voice that's dropping great content that are big in these type of spaces like the PGs, like the Gills, like all them, you got to credit Skip Bayless for that because the players wasn't speaking out until they got to a point where they feel like they got to start controlling the narrative, start controlling more of what's being said about them through these media guys. So Skip laid out his blueprint. He's about to be 80. He could chill, bro. He could feel good about himself. And no matter whether he's still involved in this space or not, Skip, you the reason why it happened. Just celebrate, bro. Retire. Enjoy the rest of your life. Do your podcast on YouTube. You don't have to get back with ESPN to get with a major network. You don't have to do that, bro. You did enough. And even these people want to admit it or not, all the smoke, all these guys, their shows wouldn't be nothing. They wouldn't even thought about doing this space if it wasn't for you and what you brought to sports, period.
Yeah, just jumping off the back of that though, Hearn. At first, I thought it wouldn't have been a good idea what Lamont said, but after hearing what you said and just deliberating on it, I actually think now it would be a very good idea to go back to ESPN, but not on a full-time basis, on a part-time basis, like once a week. Coming on as a special guest, like on a LeBron topic, and just being the ultimate troll once a week. And having, especially with the dynamic between him and Shannon, that would be absolute drama. And then Stephen A can go back to what I think the best role he is. For him is just being the mediator role, because I think he's very good when it comes to communication and mediating. He can go to that role now. And then you have the ultimate heel, and then you have Shannon Sharp as the ultimate superhero or hero role, I should say. And for the dynamics for TV, that would be fantastic. I seen someone in the comment, and I think it was Marcus, who said, "Why do we always have to bring in race?" Marcus, I'm going to break this down to you, bro. The world is run on three things: religion, politics, and race. There's a reason why First Take made sure that they had a black man and a white man doing the show. There's a reason when Skip went over to Undisputed, why he didn't pick a white man, he picked a black man. It's called optics, bro. It's called psychology. It always works. We're primitive creatures, and we're wired to affiliate with people who look like us and sound like us and talk like us. So if you wanted your answer, there you go.
Hey, that's facts right there. But in honor of True the King, hope everything good. He told us what's going to happen, what happened. That's why he couldn't make it. In honor of our brother, we're gonna dedicate this goofy take of the week to none other than Skip Bayless.
Is LeBron James a first ballot Hall of Famer right now?
Without question. It's nothing to even think about. It's one of the greatest players to have ever played the game.
Okay,
Whatever.
my first problem with this question before I get to you, Stephen A. Smith, is that, I think that Tiago Splitter is already a first ballot Hall of Famer in the Basketball Hall of Fame because everybody gets in. I think Carissa's going to get in due time. Stephen A. Smith will get in due time. Maybe. That's a big maybe. But I can't respect the criteria for getting into the Basketball Hall of Fame the way I can the Baseball and the Football Hall of Fame. So if I'm judging by those standards, the baseball and football standards, there is no way that LeBron James is already a first ballot Hall of Famer. Do I have time to go into it? I don't think
he had 9 turnovers, so I'll give you that.
Hold on.
He was a disaster in the fourth quarter of that game. A disaster.
Okay, we're going to leave it right
I watched it with these two lazy, repaired eyes.
27, 19,
Oh,
and 10.
please.
How is that awful?
You know what happened in that fourth quarter.
In what world?
You are disqualified now from talking about LeBron James as MVP because after what I saw yesterday, nobody who could be in the MVP conversation can get away with just taking a back seat in the fourth quarter to the other guy on his team. The MVP of the Cavs is this guy. It's Kyrie Irving. I would hate to see what would happen to LeBron without Kyrie right now because they might be closer to that team you were describing when Kyrie was there. I'm sorry, but that's what it is. No more MVP talk.
Game for your life. Pick your 5.
You ready?
Go ahead.
Okay, I told you. I only need really one player on my team, and that's Michael Jordan. So, voila, here's my team. And I'm going to have you read the names for me. Could you read my 4 teammates?
Oh, my God.
I'm just, in honor of you, I want you to read the 4
Tiago Splitter, Rasho Nesterovich, Kwame Brown, and Slava Medvedenko.
It's Stanislav, actually.
Oh, my God. That's a joke on me.
No, it's not.
That is a joke on me.
That team could beat anybody because it's got Michael Jordan on it. I almost just put Michael Jordan solo on my team, just have a one-man show. But I thought, well, why not those other 4? Because they're 4 your all-time favorite
Let me
players.
treat the sport of basketball with this respect and deference it deserves. Because clearly you're blasphemy with that list. How could you show up on national TV and do such a thing? I mean, this isn't Halloween. This isn't Halloween. This is April Fool's. This is April 1st. You don't make a joke like that. It's horrible. That's a horrible, horrible selection.
9 National Football League teams that needed a quarterback last night passed on Johnny Manziel, starting with the Houston Texans, who will forever regret passing on Johnny Manziel. And in a minute, I will go right down the list of teams that will forever regret passing on Johnny Manziel, who pretty soon will change football life in Cleveland, Ohio. One day, I am predicting, Johnny Manziel will become even bigger in the city of Cleveland than his buddy and business partner LeBron James ever was in the city of Cleveland. Luke,
You can't beat that, man. You can't. You can't beat that, John.
Yo, he is the ultimate troll, man. Brandon Katz, I know where you got your blueprint from now, man. He's the ultimate troll,
Facts,
man.
Then you don't see Brandon tell us that he got good takes though. That's even worse.
Oh no, man. Oh my God, bro. Bro, shout out to Skip Bayless, man. A legend in this game, inspired a lot of people like Hearn, like the Brandon Katz of the world, like the Ticket TVs and whatnot. Like shout out to Skip Bayless, man. But nevertheless,
He most definitely influenced FYF, our brother Lamont, man. You know Lamont.
absolutely.
Lamont one of the best trolls too now.
Oh yeah, we can't forget about that. But towards the end of the show, we also give y'all some other update news. On top of some people say Skip against Skip is celebration. Some people say Skip against Skip is bad news, but this is definitely bad news. Yesterday, another legend, passed away in regards to Joe Jellybean Bryant. He passed away at the age, I believe, 69. 62? Oh, 62, I believe, at a young age, 62. And unfortunately, he passed away yesterday. And Joe Bryant, and for those who don't know, obviously in the picture, he was the father of Kobe Bean Bryant, as well as a former NBA player. During his NBA career, Joe Bryant, he was a decent player. Let's be honest. He one of the few guards back in the day who was athletic, multiple level scorer, played a little decent defense, and believe it or not, you guys, Kobe Bryant was inspired by, primarily, according to Kobe Bryant himself, by 3 guys that inspired his game, which was Magic Johnson, of course, Michael Jordan, and of course his own father, Joseph Washington Bryant. So I just want to give a moment of silence for his passing. Despite what those men gone through on 69. I apologize. Despite what those men have gone through right before Kobe passing, they didn't have the best relationship towards the end. But nevertheless, he was a father and he was a player. And believe it or not, he did contribute to one of the greatest stories of basketball history. So let's give a moment of silence to Joe Bryant passing away, man. What's y'all take on this, man? What's y'all take on the untimely passing of Jelly Bean Bryant, man?
It's unfortunate. Feel bad for him because you was already hearing stories of financial troubles they was going through. Him and his wife was going through. Then he wasn't doing well when his son since his son passed away as well. So he's kind of been just down anyway. And people know the history of the relationship between him and his son down the line. And then you had all the negative attention with how Kobe's wife Vanessa and them basically with him and his wife don't see eye to eye on things and all this type of stuff that he's been going through, man, and it probably all brought up. We don't know what specifically the details of his death or the situation or his health leading up to it, but it's just a sad situation, man. But at the end of the day, he did birth a legend. He did influence Kobe to be what he ended up becoming, because at the end of the day, he was introduced to the game through his father. So at the end of the day, the true separation from Kobe and his parents was, they didn't agree with a certain move that he made in his life. And unfortunately, sometimes people egos get in the way, and it's a shame that they fully couldn't fix it. I do primarily feel they did love each other. The love never left, but their egos got in the way to rectify everything before everything took place with Kobe Bryant's death. Then on top of that, that's a lot of regret that he's probably been carrying since his son passed away. So rest in peace to Bean, man. And rest in peace to his father as well. And prayers to the Bryant family as well, man.
Yeah, it's been a tough stretch, man. But H, what you got on Joe Jelly Bean Bryant passing away, man?
Yeah, this is a very sensitive subject, so be very respectful from on this. I have my personal views on this situation, but at the end of the day, um, it's not for me to talk about that. So at the end of the day, it's a person's death and it's his family as well. But God bless him. Pray that his soul was right with the Lord and I rest in peace. And just from how can I say, from a wisdom standpoint, for everyone, this is why I think fa- never let money or friction get between family, because you never know where you could pass from this earth. Like at the end of the day, we're all allotted a time to be on this earth. The Most High gives us each different times, whether it's 50 years, 70 years, 5 years, whichever. But always make sure that at the end of the day, faith comes first, but then family, because you never know, man. The worst thing you want to do is that you have an argument, you have an issue with a family member, and then they're gone. And the last memory you have of that family member is the disagreement. That is probably one of the worst things you could ever do. So always show love to your family members. Always show love to people in general, but most importantly, your family. If you can't look after your own family, how are you gonna look after anyone else? If you can't love your own family, how are you gonna love anyone else? Or rest in peace to Mr. Bryant, and I pray the family find solace in this time of grief.
Take us home, Sturdy.
I That was beautiful, H. That was beautiful. But nevertheless, unfortunately, we got more pressing news to get to. In regards to other things that happen in the sports world, we have Kyrie Irving has undergo hand surgery. He was training, and then unfortunate accident happened to occur while he was training during the off season. This is a minor hand surgery. He will be the time according to the timetable. He will not is not expected to miss any time during the regular season, at least during his recovery process. So Kyrie Irving is expected to have a hand expected to have hand surgery. And also another sports news, we also got Gary Trent, Gary Trent Jr. Signed with a 1 year with the Bucks. This is something that apparently, in my opinion, is kind of impressive by the Bucks standpoint. Not in regards saying Gary Trent is like some outstanding player. It's more so in regards to the fact that the Bucks is a very restricted team. They only can sign vet minimum guys, and yet they got a piece that they need. It's a 3D guard who can shoot, who can play defense, and who can have moments of continue to maintain advantages on offensive end. In y'all opinion, what do y'all think? How do y'all think Gary Trent fits on the Bucks? And was this a good pickup?
I think it was an excellent pickup. You see, that was primarily one of their weaknesses that they struggle with on the perimeter. They struggle at the 2 and the 3 position, and Gary Trent Jr. gives them a good 3 and D guy that they lacked in primarily all last year. Cause Chris Middleton, we know he's not the same player that he once was on both ends, and they struggle with that. Cause Pat Connaughton's not gonna be consistent. So Gary Trent Jr. is a good piece to start with. They still need to sure up more depth for us in perimeter 3 and D guys, but that's a start by getting Gary Trent Jr. because he is a 3 and D type of guy. He can knock down open shots. He can stretch the floor, and he's a solid defender. So that's a good start. Milwaukee still got some work to do, but that is a good start for the Milwaukee Bucks by getting Gary Trent Jr. The Lakers failed once again. They could have got him, but unfortunately, you know what they did to primarily get in the way of that. So, but I mean, but the Bucks, that was a good sign about the Bucks.
Ace, what you got, man?
Yeah, for the price, it's a good signing. I don't think Gary Trent Jr. is moving the needle. I think the Bucks are they're in a sticky situation right now, and they definitely need to start making moves. Lillard, Middleton, and Giannis, all of them are injury prone right now, and I'm just trying to see what can this team do? Can they hold up? Will Gary Trent? I'm assuming he's coming to replace Beasley, which is a like for like replacement. But in terms of POA defenders and just perimeter defenders in general, they lost Pat Bev to I think he's gone overseas to Israel. That's a pivotal piece I think they've lost, and now you're relying on Gary Trent Jr. to guard again the strongest perimeter player or Pat Connaughton, and I think that's gonna put the Bucks in a very precarious situation. The Bucks are on a slippery slope, and they need to make bigger moves than this. I'm hearing the rumors on moving Brook Lopez. I think they should do it. I'm hearing he may go to the Lakers. I as a Laker supporter, I definitely would take that trade. I think it's depending on who it's for, I think it's the right move right now. But the Bucks definitely need to improve because if they don't compete next year, I think the window's shut definitely. But overall, for the price it cost and the vet min, yeah, it's a good pickup, but for me, it's not moving the needle.
All right. I just want to inform people as well. They also signed Torian Prince as well as damn, I forgot the brother's other point guard name. Is not the I'll get it later. But nevertheless, that's not the only acquisition the Bucks made during the offseason. Another speaking of acquisitions, the Lakers. The Lakers hired Lindsey Harding For those who don't know who Lizzie Hardy is, she's a former WNBA player. She played point guard for the Phoenix Mercury back in the day. This is not her first time rodeo. She joined the assistant coaching staff right next to Scott Brooks. Scott Brooks. What's the brother name? What's the brother name? Her who got Nate McMillan and joining that staff alongside JJ Redick. She actually used to coach with the Stockton Kings, as well as she used to be assistant coach on the Sacramento Kings in 2022 and 23 season. Based off her reputation, she's known as a good communicator, one of the most innovative coaches come out to date. Believe it or not, Mike Brown spoke highly of her when she was on staff. But nevertheless, what do y'all take on Lindsey Harden being the first black woman to join the Los Angeles Lakers on their staff?
They did this. She's a great addition, but I'm gonna say this though. They did it because they they did it because they was trying to keep heat off of them. It wasn't no move because they just generally wanted a great addition to the coaching staff. They did that because JJ Redick. They've been coming at the JJ Redick about racial things, and they wanted to shut that up by signing her and put her on the coaching staff. So now you cover two bases for his hate towards women and hate towards a person of color. So I think that's more of a type of move why the Lakers did. They didn't do it because it's schematics, because it was schematic. Hell, they would have done a lot of things that they've been doing. So I think it was more for publicity, more covering the ass rather than doing what's best for the team, in my honest opinion. So it's not about them making a good decision for the organization. It's about them covering the ass more than everything. So that's what I believe it was. It got nothing to do with them thinking that she's the best fit for the Lakers. Hell no. They doing that for publicity. They doing that to cover their ass because they know they signed a damn asshole as a coach. That's the only reason.
What you think, H?
Yo, Stevie, all I'm gonna say, move on to the next topic because I lock this whole stream off if I answer, man. I lock this whole stream off, bro.
Nah, I'm
All I'm
picking up
gonna
what you're putting
say,
down, but okay, go ahead.
all I'm gonna say, man. Remember Leonardo DiCaprio in Django when he had the black woman there, man. There's JJ Redick right there, man. He knows what he's doing. It's just damage control, bro. I'm onto him, man. I'm onto him. He's a slimy fox, man. I at the end of the day, he's a slimy fox, man. I'm onto him, man. But it is what it is.
See, no, I don't believe that because, like I said before, when you hire a rookie head coach, the best bet is to surround him with as much experienced assistant coaches as possible. There's nothing wrong with on Stockton Kings. For those who don't know, that's a G League team. That 1 year, and the reason why she came back into the league because she was coach of the year in the G League. So she's proven to be a great assistant coach. She's proven to be viable head coach in different scenarios. So why not bring her on to give another perspective, not only as a player, but also as let's be honest, as a person that used to that sort of scrutiny as she was dealing with during her time she played. I don't see why not. It's clearly I'm not disagreeing with you, H, and her in regards to the Lakers as an organization have a clear history of doing certain hires just to just to improve their optics. But I believe in this case, two things can be true. Her resume do speak for itself. And for those who don't know, just look up the comments in the interview on how Mike Brown speaks of her as an assistant. She didn't get fired from the Sacramento Kings as assistant. She did like what other players do sometimes as a free agent is put themselves in a situation they get a little more exposure for their work. And now she's joining other great coaches on that staff on the franchise that get the most exposure. So to me, from her end, it's a good business move, as well as from the Lakers standpoint. There's nothing wrong with adding more experience to that coaching staff to help JJ Redick out. regardless of her skin complexion or ethnicity.
Yeah, I hear you, man, but I don't think it's a coincidence that
No, I think two things
highest.
can be true.
I can, but I think it's leaning more towards the latter than the former. What you're bringing up, the allegations to JJ Redick are horrendous, but again, that's for another show for another day, man. So I'll leave it there.
Actually, Adam, that's the thing. When it was never any of that. If you don't believe me, talk to the players on how they feel about Becky Hammond when she was the assistant coach on the Spurs. Like just how we know that men can coach in the WNBA, women can also coach in the NBA. So a coach is just a coach, bro. I don't know if you ever played sports, but a coach is just a coach, dog. Is literally that simple.
That's
But nevertheless, though,
100%, man. That's
yeah,
100% sturdy.
like we're not going like because like I don't get that. But nevertheless, though, right? We're getting close to the end of the show. I'm gonna drop the link again for those who are brave enough to, if you disagree with any of our takes, for me, Hearn, or even other takes that you probably heard earlier from rebranding, Rudy Hoodie, even Brandon Katz. We're gonna drop the link one more time, and in the meantime, as we drop the link, I want the brothers on the panel to help me figure out who y'all think is the chat warrior of the day. I think we got a lot of takers, man. Like I think a lot of guys left a great impersonation during today. I think if y'all need help nominations, let me know. Otherwise, who
Yeah,
y'all think
there's
should
a
be chat
few.
word of the day so far?
There's a few. There's Ishmael M. He's been pretty active. T Killer was active. Marcus was active, and then there's some earlier people as well. But I'm gonna go with either Ishmael, Marcus, or Tiffany as well. Tiffany was very active as well. So one of those three for me.
Mm.
I
What
agree
do
with
you think?
I agree with the same thing. But I'll probably go with I'm gonna go with who? Cause I'm gonna go with Ishmael today. I'm gonna go with Ishmael.
Congrats to Ishmael, man. You are one of the few to get chat warrior of the day. Now, for those who don't know, right? For those who don't know, we announced this on episode 1 of crossover. The first chat person to get to 10 chat words of the day, there's certain prize for you, brother. Or man, you will get merch shipped to you, courtesy of FYL Sports crossover, and you will get some money. That's one of our ways for us to like give back to the people that support us, that take time to watch us, as well as like the video, man. Like, we appreciate y'all support. We
It's
always
Brandon
will.
Cats.
We're definitely.
How many Brandon Cats got so far?
Believe it or not, Brandon Katz got 1 and 2 nominations. Tyson got 1. Brandon Katz got 1. Don't worry, people. We can check. The guys who got multiple is I think Tyson probably got 2, and another person that's not here. Unfortunately, is not here today, which is crazy because like he typically gets these based off being active. But only time for 2, man. Only time for 2 for
Man.
chat warriors of the day.
What's his name? What's his name? Duke something. The one who
Duke Bayless. Yeah, he got 2. He got 2.
Yeah, man. Obviously, his sweetheart's not on today, man. So he ain't here. So
yeah,
say less.
I feel you, Duke. I like women too, but yeah, I'm surprised nobody ain't got no smoke for H or Herm, bro. Like, these are some of the most controversial content creators of the honestly in FYF's history. To be honest with you,
I'm gonna be real. They don't want to smoke with me or H, man. That's what it really.
Oh,
is.
they don't want smoke. Like, you think like guys like Brandon Katz is scared of you, Herm? You think guys like that don't want to give you any pushback?
Nah. I don't think Brandon Cass is scared. He just don't know how to shut the hell up. Like, once he get going, he just don't know how to stop. But I don't think he's scared. But he easily would get cooked.
But Brandon, Brandon, I
y'all
promise.
can't call
Brandon,
me a
I'm
chat
gonna bring you.
I had to pull up just because of that.
You are a chat warrior, T Killer. You was in the chat and you was a warrior for the whole day. It's all good, brother. Like, ain't nothing wrong with that. Everybody got to play their role. You know what I mean?
Nah, yeah, y'all had a good show. I'll be honest. I was driving home. I was listening to y'all
I
cooking.
appreciate that, brother. Appreciate that.
Appreciate it.
And man,
But it,
y'all send out prayers to our brothers on True. Man, shout out to True, man. He couldn't make it today. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to True the King. Shout out to Mario. Shout out to Zeno. Man, shout out to
True, all good.
Yeah,
He's good, right?
everything. Yeah, everything all right though. Everything all right. He just
Nah.
had it.
everything all right. Everything all right.
Yeah, he just had to take care of some business.
Hey, I
But
wanted to ask.
before I bring Brandon Cats up,
Tyson said he wanted to smoke.
Ishmael, bro, how you feel about your first award, bro, on the crossover, man? Chat word today. How's it feel to be a winner?
Number one.
Just
If
want
you
to
ain't
say,
first, you last.
I want to thank God for giving me the ability to be able to spam a lot of comments in the chat. It takes motivation to do. And I'm not working today, so I got the time to do so. So yeah, it's all good. I didn't know I could win the title for it. So thank you.
No
Bro,
problem, man.
talk your shit. I am number one.
Now we're gonna bring up we're gonna bring up a certain personality. We're gonna bring up a guy who will always I give him this. He always bring the smoke. He always bring the smoke. And apparently he might have some smoke for you, Herb. I don't know. But we're gonna bring up Brandon Cass, see if you got any feedback for anything on the panel that was said today, and then we're gonna make our closing remarks.
Yeah, I got to cook the panel with your take on Gary Trent, and not specifically to Gary Trent, but with Milwaukee as well. But first, hold on. But first, I want to say, people like Ishmael was talking about Skip Bayless. Skip Bayless knows the game. He can break down coverages and matchups. Skip Bayless made his name as a writer. He made his name as a writer in Chicago long before he was on TV.
Yeah,
Skip Bayless needs to get back to the basics. Skip needs to get back to talking the game and doing more than just hit jobs on athletes. That he can do that too, but he needs to get back to talking the game and breaking it down. But I want to cook the panel on the Gary Trent issue, because what's happening in Milwaukee is not getting attention in the national media, but Giannis has destroyed this roster. Giannis refused to sign an extension until the Milwaukee front office extended Lopez and Middleton. Lopez is slow and old. Middleton can't stay on the court. Milwaukee had one of the best front offices in the NBA for years. They put together the title team in 2021 by trading for Drew Holiday. They switched Bledsoe for Drew. They brought in Bobby Portis when nobody wanted him, when he got in fights with Chicago. The Milwaukee front office was cooking. They put a very good roster around Giannis. They brought in Budenholzer, one of the best offensive minds in the NBA, a coach who won 60 games with his best player in Atlanta is Paul fucking Millsap. So Giannis gets Budenholzer fired. He gets fucking Middleton and Lopez huge deals. And so now the Bucks POA defense is trash, and they're bringing in players like Gary Trent and Taurean Prince, who also play no fucking defense. Like, the panel's take on Gary Trent was complete.
Brandon, we're gonna let you cook. You just gotta watch the language, sir. Just watch the language. That's all.
The fucking
I'll say it I want.
Shut
But
the
Gary
fuck
Trent
up,
is
bro.
not a good defender. Gary Trent couldn't defend in Portland. He couldn't defend in Toronto. So if you look at what's happened with Milwaukee, Lopez was always slow, and he's 36 now. So you have a slow center. Giannis is not playing defense like he did when he was DPOY either. So you have a slow center who can't guard on the perimeter. You have Dame, who's going to be 35, plays no defense. Prince plays no defense, and Trent plays no defense either. Giannis has done to the Bucks what LeBron did in LA. He has destroyed this roster.
That's a very interesting take. It's not like he agreed with you, Herb.
Lopez was like third in defensive player of the year last year.
That's what I'm trying to think.
What are you talking about?
But I'm saying, but Herm, how's he cooking you when it's not like he's agreeing with you?
I was going to say the same thing. We all said the same thing. It's
Herb just like
No, Herm was saying it was a good move to sign Gary Trent. They need POA defenders. They have shooters. They need perimeter defenders. Gary Trent can't guard anybody.
But
How
Brandon,
much did
I say
Gary
it's the
Trent cost
start
though?
though. I just say it's
Milwaukee
the
needs
start.
players like
I mean,
Vanderbilt. They need players who can defend and do a little. I mean, most players are going to shoot decently with Giannis because he gets everybody wide open shots. If you look at players' 3-point shooting percentage when they play with Giannis, like Drew Holiday's a great example, it goes way up. The Bucks don't need
well,
elite
why
shooters.
Dames
They
didn't
need
go up
competent
then?
shooters
Why
who will
Dame
shoot
Lillard
well when they're
didn't
wide
go up
open
then?
because they'll get wide open shots with Giannis that can actually play defense. The Bucks don't
Why
have a
Dame
single
Lillard
good
3-point
Bro,
percentage
perimeter
didn't go
everybody
up?
defender
sucks to
to
you,
complement
Brandon.
Giannis.
Everybody sucks to you. Like,
Why Dame?
is there a good
Brandon,
player in the
Brandon.
league?
Why
What?
Dame Lillard's 3-point
Oh man,
percentage didn't go up
this
then?
guy's crying like a little girl. I'm saying Giannis is an elite player, but he has destroyed this roster by getting involved in the front office. They should have never fired Budenholzer, and Doc
I
Rivers is
agree with that
garbage
point,
too. You're
Bro,
not
Brandon.
gonna
based
win
on
Doc.
what? You have no information to say that, bro.
No information to say what?
To say that he destroyed their front office. Like, how do you know that?
Because they would not have when Chris Middleton got a 4-year, $32 million a year contract, he was almost 34 years old and he was injury prone. So Giannis wouldn't sign an extension with the Bucks until the last minute. And it's publicly documented that Giannis wanted Budenholzer out. If you think a small market team like Milwaukee fires a coach without talking to Giannis first, you are the dumbest person on the planet. He wanted Budenholzer out. He wanted his boys, Lopez and Middleton, to get deals, and he has prevented this front office, which made good moves I referenced before with Drew and Bobby Portis, from being able to bring in the right players.
Unfortunately, Brandon, Giannis made and the GM made public remarks in regards to he not only wanted Jason Kidd to be there, he wanted Budenholzer to be there. He didn't want
I'm
those guys
saying
fired,
that.
believe it or not. That's the thing. Like, there's a misconception that, of course, there's a difference between input.
He did want Budenholzer
There's a
fired.
Brandon. There's a difference between input and final decision. Of course, we understand players, especially star players, they have some say in regards to some moves from hirings and firings. But at the end of the day, the final decision always comes down to the front office.
No.
So the front office, if they can either
So you think
choose
Bob
to,
Pelinka wanted to
they can
trade
either
for Westbrook?
they can either choose. Actually, yes, he actually said it publicly.
Okay,
They
so you
either
think the
choose.
Westbrook
They
trade
either
was Pelinka's
choose
idea,
to.
not LeBron's? That's the dumbest take I've ever heard.
No. Actually, it was. If you do your research, that's what I'm trying
It
to tell you,
wasn't.
Brandon.
Pelinka's just
But
covering for the Bus family and LeBron, and you're falling for it like a fucking casual. Everybody knows the Westbrook trade was LeBron's idea. Pelinka wanted.
Brandon.
Yo,
I'm about to give you one more. Brandon, I'm gonna just have to
better
give you
yet,
one more
y'all.
warning, brother.
Pelinka wanted.
Please
Hold
refrain
on,
from cussing,
hold on.
bro. That's all. That's all I'm saying.
Me Brandon up right quick because I feel like being an asshole. Brandon, since you saying that, we can ask ChatGTP if Giannis is responsible for the Milwaukee Bucks roster construction. Since you want to be an asshole, we could do
Small
that.
market teams like Milwaukee don't make any major moves without consulting their superstar. Nobody would care about Milwaukee. They would not be relevant without Giannis. The Bucks would have brought back Michael Jordan at age 50 if Giannis wanted him. They're doing whatever Giannis wants. That's what small market teams have to do in the NBA when they have a top 5 player in their prime.
So why did they fire Budenholzer where he didn't want Budenholzer fired?
He did want Budenholzer fired.
Do you have any proof of that, sir?
The fact that they fucking fired him. But no, the other thing is Giannis said
he did want Budenholzer.
I'm sorry, Brandon. I love hear you cook, but you gotta refrain from cussing, bro. Like you can't say what you want.
That's what I mean.
It is
Like,
what it
this
is,
dude
bro.
just-
But nevertheless, Herm, like publicly, Giannis and the GM said he did not want Budenholzer fired. I don't know what to tell you, Herm.
I
And
wanted
that's
to
why I
ask
keep telling, and that's why I keep reminding people. There's a difference between influence and final decision. No matter who the player is, you can leverage yourself. You can leverage yourself in order to get what you want. But at the end of the day, it's the front office last decision.
I wanted to ask him a question like on Skip Bayless. Like, why is he in defense of Skip Bayless? Because I just don't see like Yeah, I know Skip Bayless has been in the industry for over 30 years, but what about like I haven't really seen him break the game down for any measure at all. Like he romanticizes the game, and that's why I was talking about like he's pretty terrible on television. Like romanticizing and all those antics is not good for sports. It just dumbs it down and brings just drama to television and draw for ratings. So I mean, like, if he can point to, like, if he really breaking the game down for, like, as a basketball, I would like to see that. So I'm trying to understand why he's such in defense of him.
No, because Brandon was right. Skip did start off as a beat writer for the Cowboys back in the day, but believe it or not, what Brandon won't inform you is the fact that Skip, even as a beat writer, found his lane. Herm know this. Skip got his most traction when he leaked personal information about Troy Aikman. Am I lying, Herm?
Yeah.
Well, no,
Skip
I know
wasn't-
that.
Yeah.
No, I'm saying that I know he's been a journalist for a long time. I'm not saying that. I know that, but I'm talking about actually
Hey,
like
y'all be smooth.
being
I
good
just
for
want to come
sports.
on real quick. Y'all be smooth.
Thanks for your support, T Killer. Hit
I'm
that
talking
like
about
button
like
when
Cool,
you
if
thank you. And we
No
got our
problem, brother.
big
No problem.
dog up here, man. We got FIF in the building, man. Shout out to FIF for popping up.
I was trying to talk to Brandon, but y'all kicked him off.
Hey,
No,
bring
no,
it
he's
back
still here.
up, sir.
No,
Bring
he's
it
still
back
here. He's
up.
still here. He's still here. I just, Brandon, we're gonna let you cook, bro. I'm just letting you know. The only reason why you get put backstage is when you curse a lot or you just stay on topic. So just at this point, it's freelance. Just don't curse, bro. That's it.
Yeah, I was referring to like when Skip is being a commentator on television, like when he's spoken on ESPN being an sports analyst. Like, can he like point to me like any time like Skip Bayless have like really broken the game down?
Yeah,
That's a fair
you
question.
missed my point. I mean, I'll say what I want, but that's fine. What I'm saying is, so I followed Skip. I lived in the suburbs of Chicago when Skip wrote for the Sun Times. So I used to read Skip's articles. This is about 20, 25 years ago. And Skip was one of the most respected writers in the country for years. Now, what happened is when Skip went on TV, he
That's
hit
what I'm
ratings
talking about.
gold by hating on certain athletes. So Skip got away from analyzing the game and really breaking down matchups, coverages, really breaking down the X's and O's.
So
and
he never did
started,
it.
Hold on, let me finish.
Okay,
so
my bad.
Skip started playing the game and hating on athletes, and that brought him ratings gold with First Take and ESPN. And now the game that Skip's playing, everybody's playing the game. It's not just Skip, it's everybody. So my point is, Skip does know the game. He can break it down, but he got away from that on TV, and he needs to get back to that. He's much more than just someone who can hate on athletes, but that's what he became on TV, and it stopped working when everybody was doing the same thing that he's doing. He does know the game, though. He made his name as a writer long before he was on TV, and it wasn't just as a Cowboys beat writer. He was one of the most respected sports writers in the country with a major Chicago newspaper.
Okay, I can understand
Skip
that.
is the innovator of hot takes, though. He is the innovator of it.
I understand that, but like your whole premise is really going off of the potential of what Skip Bayless was able to do as a writer. And I told you, like in the comments, my stance was like he's horrible on television. And so, like, you're really just making my point valid by saying that he went away from breaking the game down in order to just drive up revenue and ratings. So it's like, in essence, yes, Skip Bayless is still terrible for television. That, like, just romanticizing the game and using motivational terms to describe players that he hates or he likes is really not good for sports in general. So when he's off on television, just
that's your opinion.
Well, that's a fact. You can't bring up any other.
It's not a fact. It's your opinion.
Well, what fact do you have in order to? You just said it yourself that he stopped doing that once he got on television. So how is that not a fact?
Because Skip had the top-rated show on all of TV with First Take for years. And the other thing is, Skip is at his best on TV.
I understand.
Hold on. Let me
That's not what I'm
respond.
saying.
Skip is at his best on TV when he has a muse. He needs a muse. He needs a Stephen A. or a Shannon Sharp. He needs somebody to attack and go after. So if he just has
Ishmael, you gotta let him finish.
If you gave Skip the right show with the right partner, he'd have one of the top-rated shows on TV. He needs a better format. But I'm saying Skip wasn't bad on TV. It's just at the end he got away from what was working because now everybody has shows between YouTube and TV. So you can't just come in and trash athletes. You need to go a little deeper than that. And so he needs to reinvent himself a little.
Not true.
He didn't really address
Lamar, why you said?
Hold on, y'all.
Lamar, why you saying not true?
What's your take? How you
Well,
feel about what Brandon was saying?
first was Skip. There's a reason why it's not true, because if you look at Skip's time on TV, I mean, what Brandon said maybe could have been true in the early onset, but now that we're able to look and reflect back, it looks like he was massively carried by Stephen A. and massively carried by Shannon, just like he tried to get Paul Pierce to carry him when ratings went down, because he says that Skip needs a great partner. Skip doesn't. The thing is, if Skip was really good at what he did, he wouldn't need a great partner, because Stephen A. on ESPN has been the mainstay. Amidst different people and different partners, he's still been a mainstay. Now, $125 million deal. And then, hold on one second. And then both of those guys, Stephen A. and Shannon, both have independently went to YouTube, and they have massively both outgrown Skip. So Skip's true. If Skip was skilled at what he did, then he would have independently on his own on YouTube been able to have just as much success, if not more, than Stephen A. or Shannon. He has not come close to their level of success. He hasn't even come close to the level of success of Marcellus Wiley on YouTube. So what he's been the beneficiary of is what I said in the chat. He's been the beneficiary of a massive push from FS1, putting him in front of millions of people, even though I've always felt he wasn't that talented on TV, just like Ishmael said. He's just a much better writer, and he's been massively carried by the people and the powers around him, not necessarily his own set TV skills. Stephen A. is the one with the TV skills in front of the camera. Shannon was the one with the skills in front of the camera. It never was Skip. Skip was never really that interesting. He never had that type of persona. And like I say, he might have got his glamour and glitz from writing, but as his hosts depart and leave him, and we watched those shows fall apart as Stephen A. left and he needed to recover, and Shannon left, he needed to recover. He himself alone has proven he cannot move the needle in sports talk. He can't have real sports talk, because even on this podcast by himself, where he has the best opportunity to get back to what you call real sports talk, he hasn't even taken the opportunity to do that. No one here can point to one time in sports history where Skip Bayless has had a real legitimate basketball breakdown. That's why Ishmael was asking you. Ishmael was asking you, and you took it back to him writing. Ishmael said, "I'm not talking about writing. I'm talking about on TV." And so, he's a complete and utter failure on TV. The fact that you call the funniest thing about it is the fact that you call everything that everybody talks about trash. And when we talk about a guy who's been an utter failure, when we talk about a guy who's been an utter failure and only been carried by black men on TV, you say he's a success. Out of all the stuff that you say is trash, the thing that is actually trash, you try to stand behind and support it. That's just that is the oddest thing I've seen.
First of all, that's not what I did.
But at the end of the day, what I've said is his show is failing now because he can't find a viable replacement. He lost Shannon. Shannon's had massive success without him on YouTube and on ESPN. Stephen A. Smith has had massive success on YouTube and on ESPN. Everything he touches turns into gold. It seems like everything that Shannon touches that's not associated with one of the hottest co-hosts in sports goes into the garbage can. He's right now he's trying to use Paul Pierce, but Paul Pierce never had that type of gravity. He's going to be looking for someone else soon. This is one of the reasons why he's just gracefully bowing out. This is why he's leaving FS1. He's just bowing out right now. And he's just trying to do it in a way where he can just go off into the shadows. But he's upwards in age. He does not garner interest from the young crowd. He's only known as a LeBron James hater. LeBron is about to retire, and he knows his time is coming to an end as well. It's just a fact.
Wait. So let me respond.
Brandon, we're gonna let you cook. We're gonna let you cook. I just want to give some context. That's all. Okay. For those who don't know, as I mentioned earlier, Skip Bayless on YouTube, just from YouTube, he only has 160K subs. Compared to Stephen A. Smith on his own personal channel, Stephen A. at about 734K subs. and Shannon Sharp is at 3.3 million subs. And we don't want to go to Instagram. We don't want to go to Twitter because it's actually a bigger difference. So when Lamont is giving you multiple reasons why he hasn't adapted to the times, nor he hasn't simply had nowhere near the same success when he was separated in comparison to those guys being separate from him, there's some credence to that. What do you say to that, Brandon?
Okay, so a couple points. Like, first of all, this again, I was critical of Skip. I said he needs to get back to more of breaking the game down, and there's no racial component here. Not that I need to defend that, but here's the point that Lamont and the other people are missing when you cite Stephen A. and Marcellus Wiley and Shannon Sharp. Okay, those are all black men, and there are not a lot of high-profile black sports personalities in the media. So it's a lot easier for people like Shannon Sharp and Stephen A. to get a huge following, especially with basketball, where you have a lot of black fans, than it is with Skip. Because most people in the black community are going to be more drawn to well-known black personalities like Stephen A., Marcus Wiley.
Most people in the black
others.
community don't
Hold on,
like Stephen A.
Let me finish. Than they are with Skip. But Skip had the #1 rated show, which was First Take, before he had any black co-host. In fact, before Skip put Stephen A. on First Take, Stephen A. was nothing, and Shannon was nothing before he was on Undisputed with Skip either. But it's a lot easier on social media, YouTube, Instagram, and everything, for prominent black personalities in the media to get huge followings than it is for somebody like Skip, because there are not a lot of high-profile black sports personalities. So if you are one of them like Stephen A. or Shannon, it's easier for you to get a big following than it is with Skip. There are a million white personalities on the sports media like Skip. Skip's just a dime. He's another drop in the pond. And so, as I said, Skip needs to reinvent himself. But Skip broke down how Jordan's game changed with Phil. See, again, Skip made his name as a writer with his analysis. He knows the game. He just got away from that. And his style of hating on athletes, it wore thin at the end of his time. So he needs to reinvent himself. But what I'm pushing back on is the idea that Skip's done. He's not done. He just needs to change what he does, because he does know the game. I read his articles for years, long before he was on TV. He knows the game.
It sounds like he needs to go back to writing if that's the case, because everything that you told me, everything that you're telling me is all made up. Like when you talk about Skip on TV, independent of a major personality, whether it's Stephen A. or Shannon Sharp, he does not resonate with anyone. No one can remember anything he's done on his podcast because we don't care, because he doesn't resonate with viewers on TV. And when you're talking about he needs to go back and he needs to reinvent himself, he's approaching 80 years old. There ain't no reinventing anything. It's over. He's had 40 plus years to reinvent himself and figure this thing out. And if he ain't done it now, it's over with. The thing is, he's not resonated. He's created one identity. He's held on to that identity for far too long. And now that LeBron James is about to be out of the league and is no longer the best player in the league and is no longer one of those talking points that you could just try to drag, he's run out of steam. And I don't think he's talented enough. Like when you talk about Stephen A. and Shannon, I just think they are far more talented than Skip Bayless. That's why they're having more success. This has nothing to do with the market being oversaturated with white content, with white figureheads in sports, like Brandon is saying. That's all a made up lie. You know what? Stephen A. and Shannon are just more talented on TV. Sounds to me like you need to go get a hold of Skip and say, I enjoyed you much more as a writer when your face wasn't on a TV screen. That's when you were best. So you need to go tell his ass to get back to writing, because on the TV screen, he don't know what the hell he's doing. He does not know how to hold viewership. And as we see on Fox, he cannot keep a crowd base. And really, we now starting to see, especially after Shannon left, and we started to see it even after the split with Stephen A. Now we see that it was the majority Stephen A. and Shannon, not Skip. And a lot of people have been giving Skip a ton of credit for things that I don't think he really deserves credit for. I believe that he's been pushed heavily by a machine, by networks, right? And And
They're all
now
pushed by
that and now we're
Stephen
starting
A's pushed by networks too.
but now we're because what the thing is, Stephen A. his individual YouTube podcast, that's him blowing it up. Shannon Sharp, his
That's after
individual podcast.
ESPN pushed him
Hold on
for
one second.
years.
Hold on one second. It doesn't matter because Fox and ESPN pushed Skip for years, and he can't get no traction on social media on his own.
Skip
So
had
we
the
know
number
it
one
just ain't
show
the
on
push.
ESPN
Okay,
for
it
years.
doesn't
No,
matter.
we're talking
It
about
doesn't
social
matter.
media.
It
Talking about
doesn't
social
matter.
media.
He
We're
might have
talking
had
about
that
Skip's
push.
career,
I
not
know
just
he had that push for all those years, and he goes to social media independent of those major forces, and he can't pass up Marcellus Wiley. That tells you right there his talent is lacking, right?
Okay,
And he can't do anything without a major push.
I want to
But I
respond.
mean, there's not much. It's not really much to talk about because if you want to, you just need to admit that Stephen A. and Shannon are just better than Skip, and the track records have been proven. And see, you just try to create
They
this
get
weird
more
scenario.
ratings?
Hold on.
That's the reason for
Hey,
saying
y'all,
that?
I want y'all to take note of what he did. He tried to finesse it because he don't
Stephen
have
A.
it in a.
Clippers
Hold
when
on
he
one
played
second,
his
Brandon.
3
Hold
years
on one
with
second,
Paul
y'all.
and played.
Hold on one second, Brandon. You don't have the gumption in your body to say that two black men are doing something better than Skip. And so instead of saying that they're better, which is obvious, you just say the market is oversaturated with
No,
white
Stephen A.
sports
is
figures.
doing it
No,
better. Stephen A. is
no.
doing it.
They're just better. That's why they're having success. It ain't about it. Because the thing is,
No,
it ain't
Stephen A.
it's
is
like
doing it
Stephen
better
A.
than Skip right
When
now.
you think about it, Stephen A. is really blowing up not because of black viewership. He's blowing up primarily because of the white viewership. A ton of the black viewership don't really jive with him that much. They don't really connect with him that much. That is true.
Brandon.
But you know
can
how I
listen
know
to
that?
his radio
But
show.
Brandon,
Almost
but
all
Brandon,
of them
but Brandon,
fall in are
hold on, but
black.
Brandon, you know how I know that, Brandon? Because I'm actually black. You would know that. See, you wouldn't have no idea about that.
To support that
No,
take. If you listen, when I have Stephen A.'s radio show on, I would say almost 90% of the callers are black. But the other thing is,
oh my god,
the other point you're missing. So I
you
know
just make this stuff up as you go, man.
Stephen A. is doing it better than Skip right now.
He's not doing it better. He's just better.
Missing, and this is the point that
there's nothing more to talk about. He's just better.
Okay,
they're just better.
He's better.
He's been carried by networks.
I haven't heard Stephen A. break down anything. I mean, he picked the fucking Clippers to win.
But we're not talking about breaking down. And that's what's
talk about breaking the game down.
No, we're not talking about breaking the game down. You're talking about breaking the game down. You said he needs to go back to breaking the game down. I didn't say that. You said he needs to do that.
I'm talking about Stephen A.
My original point was that you had diverged from the point of Skip breaking the game down in order to prop him up with ratings and him being the number one show. My bad, Lamar. Had added the point about the fact that basically he was carried by networks and he was carried by Stephen A. Smith.
He was one of the most respected writers in the country before he was ever on ESPN.
Nothing to do with what we're talking about.
On ESPN.
Nothing to do with television. Again, my original point,
he was one of the top personalities on ESPN.
You have a
when other people were not making their name.
Are you just avoiding the fact that what I'm saying?
ESPN did not push Skip when he first went to ESPN.
You gotta
Skip made a name for himself. Skip is the one who built First Take. And Stephen A. was nothing before Skip put Stephen A. on First Take. Stephen A. was nothing in Philadelphia before he went to ESPN, and ESPN pushed him, which Coach Lamont, when he says it's the network backing him. Stephen A. was nothing before ESPN backed him. Stephen A. was nothing in Philadelphia.
Keep talking. You sound like you're crying, but okay. Can you point to me?
You sound like you don't have any good takes. You're just attacking me personally.
Okay, that's great. All right, you sound like you're crying. All right, you sound very sensitive. But my point is, like, yes. Can you answer my simple question? Can you point to a time where Skip Bayless has actually broke the game of basketball down, like any X's and O's or anything at all on television?
Yes. I mean, again, I've heard, I've read and I've seen Skip break the game down a lot. He talked about how Jordan's game changed when he played with Phil. He talked about different offensive sets, a lot of things. But the other thing, and this is the response to Tyson when he talked about Pat McAfee. So sports media has gone online, Instagram, YouTube, social media, and that caters to the younger crowd. And this is where Stephen A is much better than Skip. So Stephen A is very good at appealing to the younger audience. Skip's crowd's primarily an older demographic, and that means that Skip's not going to do as well on platforms like Instagram and YouTube, where most of the let me finish. Let me finish. You didn't even hear my take. What I'm saying is that most of Skip's fans are older. He doesn't have the same appeal to the younger audience as people like Stephen A. And that's where the new growth is. Most of the growth in viewership is with younger people on YouTube and social media, and that's not what Skip is very good at. So Stephen A is playing the game better than Skip. But if you want to talking about breaking down matchups and breaking down the game, that's not what Stephen A does. He's an entertainer with sources. He doesn't break the game down well.
No, Brandon, that is. I think Ishmael asked an honest question. On TV, not writing, can you give an example where you broke the game down? Not saying a vague soliloquy of Jordan changed his game with Phil Jackson versus.
Thank you.
Did he break? Because did he break a single set, play any X and O's of any kind? Do you have an example where he did it on TV?
Yes, I've heard when he breaks down, like for instance, when he talks about football and he talks about the difference between Romo and Dak and how they read defenses. Skip knows the game. He talks about it well.
Really
but I mean, if I ask you, give me one example.
Brandon, what did he say? No, Brandon, what did he? No, Brandon, what did he say? Brandon, what did he say? That's what I'm asking. What did he say? You just said Tony Romo and Dak breaking down reads. That was all you said.
That's vague as hell.
Right. I'm not going to talk for 40 minutes about his takes. But what I'm saying is he talked about how Romo would struggle with Reeves. He talked about how Romo struggled against zone defenses, cover two. He would struggle to throw deep down the field, which is why Dallas really wasn't that good of an offense with Romo in the playoffs until they shifted to their running game to open up the middle of the field against quarters, cover two, different defenses. But again, right, Skip is not spending his time breaking down coverages. That's not what people want to hear.
Honestly, Brandon, I think you added
on LeBron. That's why every single title for Lamont's videos on this channel is something about LeBron. It's not a breakdown of the game.
He's really avoiding stuff right now. It's like
I'm not.
Wait.
So give me an example where Stephen A broke anything down with the game. Give me an example.
You're diverging to
Give me an example.
We're gonna give H the mic, but Brandon, before I give H the mic, no one up here said Stephen A can break down X and O's.
Yeah.
You're the only one.
Said he's much more talented than Skip. That was his take.
Yes,
that was not the point.
No, that's on Ismail. Calm down. There's a difference between. No, he didn't imply that. He literally said he's just more talented.
Stephen A is much more talented than Skip.
Right.
All right. You know what? Instead, I'm not. Hold on. Lamont is right here. Lamont, when you said Stephen A is more talented, was there any implication? Was there any implication of you saying Stephen A is more talented of saying Stephen A has potential or have shown to break down plays? No.
Here's the odd thing. He says that Skip needs to go back to breaking down the X's and O's of the game to have success on TV. But Stephen A and Shannon both are having 10 to 20 times more success than Skip. And neither one of those guys are elite at breaking down the game to any particular degree. So you're running around. What's happened is
they do much better in the black community.
The song and dance that Skip has been running for the last 20 years has gotten played out. There's all his base of fans of old people are getting washed out. They're dying. They're just getting passed up with time because, like you said, they're just too old and no one cares about their opinions anymore. And like you even admitted, you said you listened to Stephen A. Smith on the radio. Like nobody's like if you're still part of that base that even has a radio to turn on to listen to things. You're one of the reasons why Skip Bayless. You're one of the reasons why Skip no longer has an audience. But my whole point is this. My whole point is that no one here is saying they're better because they have better basketball breakdowns. You're the one that said Skip needs to go back to basketball breakdowns as if that's going to be some solution to his failures over the last 20 some years, getting carried by networks and Stephen A and Shannon Sharp. So the thing is, I don't care what type of talk he does. He can talk anything. He can talk. He can do basketball breakdowns, film study, troll other athletes. He's still going to be a failure. He's just not that good on TV. So I don't care what he talks
You don't
about.
like Skip because he hated on LeBron. You and Ishmael don't like Skip because he hated on LeBron.
No,
You're
that's
biased.
not
That's
Oh my
fine. Whatever.
God.
But I'm
That
not
was-
saying
about that.
I'm not saying Skip should just break down the game. I'm saying
No, I
Skip
don't-
needs
I
to.
don't
I'm
care
saying,
about that.
I'm gonna land it here. I'm out in about a minute. What I'm saying is Skip needs to mix hot takes and entertainment with breaking down the game, because he does need to do a better job of reaching the young audiences. That's what the audience is on YouTube and social media. If he's
Brandon.
not reaching that audience the way
Brandon,
people
you
like
just said
Sharp are,
you
he's
just
not
said
gonna
he needs to get another co-host
either.
that can help prop him back up.
You did say you
I'm
need a
saying that's
muse.
part of it. I'm not
You
saying
did
that's
say
a
you needed.
panacea.
You
I'm
did say
saying
you need a
it's part of it.
muse.
You literally just said he needed, because the thing is,
All right, I'm
that
saying that's part of it.
whenever Skip has been at his peak, he's always had the best in the game across from him. That's
No, he
carried the
built
shit out
First
of him.
Take without Stephen A.
That is true. That is true.
That's
That
true.
is true.
That's true.
No,
That is
I
when
never
Skip
said
built
that it's
First
Brandon,
Take
Brandon,
on ESPN,
Brandon, he
he
literally,
didn't have great
Brandon,
players.
he literally,
That's not
Brandon, Skip said it on national TV on explaining why he brought Stephen A on the show. He said it himself.
right, but First Take was already a successful show before Skip brought Stephen A on.
There was no
Skip
first
built
take
not a great
before
partner.
Stephen A. What are you
What
talking
LeBron and
about?
other people
No
in
one
reality-
remembers First Take before Stephen A.
They do.
It was
They
cold
do.
pizza.
It was the top-rated show on ESPN.
And it,
Brandon,
no,
it
they
was
would have taken
cold
pizza
pizza.
off the
Anyways,
They would have
as I
taken
said,
cold
I'm out in
pizza
a
off
minute.
the,
Not
off
to
the
hear.
air.
I got to get out. I'm out now too.
All right.
But
Well,
All right,
First
man.
Take was
Cool,
the
man.
top.
my point was that I never said
I'm
that
you had to
because
leave, Brandon.
Skip Bayless hates on LeBron. No, I just think that he's just terrible for sports, including Stephen A. Smith. Like, I hate it. Like, romanticizing like sports, using terminologies like, oh, he doesn't have the clutch gene, or just some BS. Like, when people talk like that, I think it's bad for sports. Just because ratings are good, that doesn't make it good on television. I think that we need more intelligent sports talks, not dumbing sports, or dumbing basketball to a level where people just want to pick and hate on a player. Like, look how it's turned out to be. Like, we put certain players in a bottle and use these terminologies like clutch and all this other stuff, and it just makes it really terrible. And then we have these awful viewpoints, and it's bad. And sometimes ratings plummet because of these people. They have these awful sports takes, and it's terrible to watch. Like, sometimes I would just like to see more intelligent discussions happen on sports, like it used to be in some cases. But people like Skip Bayless and Stephen A. Smith are the reason why it's been awful. Look, they can't even talk about anybody else but LeBron James, and I get tired of that. So that's what my point was. I just would like to see if he can at least break the game down. Or has he ever done that before? I've seen him be more exposed for being a casual on sports than breaking any game down. So that was my original. You know what I'm saying?
But unfortunately, Ishmael, the reality of the standpoint is that there's a lane for that. There's people who watch those type of people just for the drama, just for the jokes, just for the entertainment, because it's
Right,
stimulating.
and
That's why but Ishmael. No, but
Yeah.
Ishmael, like, I do agree with you. I agree with you. But the reality is, and I always tell people this, there's a lane especially in sports, there's a lane for everybody. You don't have to be an X and O person to be successful, because believe it or not, it's about relatability. It's the 3 E's, right? When it comes to this game. It's called, is it the entertainment? You don't make your success either through entertainment, excitement, or enthusiasm.
I mean,
That's it.
I understand you gotta have some personality on TV. You can't just be a complete bore and just like read from the X's and O's part. I understand that, but like, there's
No,
really,
there's
hardly any of that now. Like, there's
but that's
hardly any real intelligent like breakdowns.
No, that's
just
not
like,
true.
oh.
It's like what people say, there's not good hip hop. Nah, it's there. It's just the thing that's getting put in front of your face is the trash thing. But just because it's getting put in front of your face, don't mean the quality stuff isn't there.
Well, I would like to see it. I would like to know where I can find it.
There's a reason.
You get
No,
tired.
that's the reason why. That's the reason why they have Tim Legler. There's the reason why even
He
before
wanted
they
it
just
more, you know.
no. But there's a reason why you have. That's what you notice how ESPN does it. They always put those type of guys right after the hot take guys. Tim Legler always come on right after either Turner and the Boys or right after Skip Bayless show. One other person. JJ Redick. JJ Redick used to always get on those panels to be the perfect foil against Stephen A. and Skip Bayless because the producers understand in order to attract the more audience, the bigger audience, you need different optics. I need different types of people in this
And he's
sports world
left
that
now,
people
and I
can
was
relate to.
watching it because of him.
And unfortunately, Ismail, there's a lot of but unfortunately, Ismail, as you just experienced with Brandon, there's a lot of emotional, casual fans who don't want to contribute their time to learn the nuances of the sport they are entertained by. So to pacify those guys, to still monetize from those guys, you have to put guys on TV that talks like them. That's just business.
I got you, Sturdy. You're right. That makes sense. I was just saying to Brandon, can you showcase it to me? Because he was just such in defense of Skip Bayless for it's like for what? He's terrible on television. Like if you want to hear someone hating on LeBron all day, I don't care. Like what makes you think I care? There's a bunch of guys that do that all the freaking time. But at least like just have some type of intelligent discourse when it comes to athletic competition. I would at least like to hear that.
We want to hear from H and Brother O because thanks for joining the show, Brother O. But I will say this before I pass it on. It's just like I don't know if you watch boxing, right? It's just
yeah, I do.
It's something called it's like you ever notice in boxing they always have different types of commentators. It's not just perfect example. The reason why they have a guy like Max Kellerman next to Roy Jones and Andre Ward and like that is because of business. Is to help people relate. Everyone can relate to the athlete because everyone hasn't played sports, but they can relate to the guy who watched sports who trying to understand the sport. And so through that understanding, some people understand it through the X and O's and nuance like a Max Kellerman. Other guys understand it through straight narratives like Skip Bayless. And so as a business, you have to put guys like that to give that optics, to give that relatability, to give a bigger audience to and give more attention to your sport. But shout out to Brother O and H for coming up. H, you wanted to get something in for a while. Well,
No.
What you want to say?
No, let Brother O go, man. I've said what I need to say. Let Brother O go, man.
Oh, yeah, go ahead, brother. Also, I will make the record shown. This will make the biggest cap about Brandon. Skip Bayless had ample amount of opportunities to do that. As a matter of fact, when he was pulling the spot, when JJ Redick's on the show with him, when he was pulling the spot, when Mark Cuban was like, "Can you please break down the X and O's of why the Mavericks won?" He couldn't do it. But it's not just he chose not to do it. He just couldn't do it.
Right.
And there's nothing wrong with that. But the only thing that's wrong about it is if you portray an image as if you do know, you just simply don't. Well, go ahead, brother. What do you think?
Well, you kind of stole a little bit of my thunder right there, Sturdy.
My bad.
I mean, look, I just came in late. I don't know everything that was said, but I caught some of the KKK members is what I call them. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, L host started. L host. Okay, I'm going at you right now. L host because I put that in the chat and you didn't even display because I wanted you to ask the question to him. I also used to read Skip Bayless as well. Okay, and to a certain degree, Brandon is right. He was a better writer than he is better persona on TV. But his persona on TV reflects his writing. That's typically how this goes. What your writing skills are, you kind of translate it towards your TV persona. If you're an X and O's guy on writing, you're an X's and O's guy as your TV personality. You know, again, some people can go in between, go back and forth. But Skip Bayless as a writer became prominent when he became more salacious. It wasn't X's and O's. It wasn't none of the breakdown in the game because he was mediocre at that thing. Now, he was a beat writer, and he was a good one. I can't take that away from him. But from a schematic standpoint, understanding the game, it's the same level as he was on TV. Because to your point now, when he had the opportunity to showcase that skill, he could not do it because it's not there. He doesn't know the game. He's just a passionate sport fan that loved the game, and he took it in a career that allowed him to be close to the game, which is nothing wrong with that. But he didn't take the time out to understand the game at a rudimental level, because some of that just comes by just playing some of it too. And again, so when Brandon Cat starts saying this, we gotta like really start fact checking it. Like, I read Skip Bayless. I'm asking him to point to me the article where he broke down X and O and schematic things about what he quote unquote saw.
That's a good take. See, like I wasn't. That makes sense, because it's like what you're writing would be a reflection of how you would be able to describe the game on national television as well. So that does make sense, and that's why I also asked him, like, can he point to like a time where he was on television where he truly broke the game down, basketball and just even football for that sake, and just saying that Tony Romo read certain reads and stuff like that, and cover 3 and stuff. Like, anybody could say something like that, like really break it down, you know. So I would just say like that makes sense.
That's all I have for today. You know,
that's all you had for today. Yeah, no problem, brother. You know what it is. You know what it is, man. Hopefully the next game you don't change anything about Shaq, and I have a fair shot. But nevertheless,
you in the championship. Why are you complaining? You in the championship.
What you mean? I want to win, nigga. Shaq missed his first 6 shots.
Hey, Sturdy, I just let the computer do what it does, okay? Don't.
The nigga was doing fadeaways from the free throw line. I'm like, what's going on?
Hey, look at Rashad McCants. You acting like Rashad right now, okay? like.
Hey, chat. Is it obvious? Is it obvious?
All right. Look, I'm gonna have the game out for you either tomorrow or Friday, so it'll be out.
Nah, I appreciate it, brother. But like, nevertheless, though, I'm gonna drop you down. I'm gonna drop Ishmael down so me and Herm can wrap this up. All right, we appreciate y'all.
Thank you.
Obviously, hit the like on the way out. And congratulations again to Ishmael for winning Chat Warrior of the Day. Nevertheless, though, shout out to Brother O for that great take. You can find them on the draft board 770. A lot of good content over there, man. A lot of good content over there. But nevertheless, we are out of here. Herm, you got anything else for the people, man, before we got here? Herm eating some Memphis barbecue. Nevertheless, though, thanks you guys for watching, man. Thanks for your support. Shout out to the 200 people that's still watching. We'll appreciate it. What's good, Herm? Got anything else to see people before we get out of here? Oh, still eating some Memphis barbecue. But appreciate it, bro. Hit the like. And if you believe that Skip Bayless ain't done, and if you believe that Jaylen Brown is actually getting blackballed, leave it in the comment section. But nevertheless, we are out. Thanks, y'all. Peace.
This will hit me in my soul when I need a dip. After the cold nights of grinding, now I need to vent. Calling the law cause I'm killing forever heaven sent. My brother told me that my calling is a mic and kicks. I do it all like the last chance of finding love. I ain't no simp, just a nigga that believe in love. Can guarantee that the moment that I get a chance, want to succeed, so as a man I gotta take a stance. Though they don't see it, but they steady trying to stop the vision. I'm seeing squares from every angle like a damn prism. Could never fail cause my family's searching for a blessing. Teaching my seed, don't let them crush you like an intersection. Born in the 80s where they took it and they stood tall. I need a minute like the last second on calling cars. Oh, you rich niggas steady talking politics. Oh, it go several seats, nigga, you need to take a sit. Cause you ain't never felt the struggle, now you seen the pain. Cause when they cut his money, steady go against the grain. I pray that all my homies make $1 million so we can all ride for one, pushing big trucks. Giving back to the city that raised us. Can't save them all, but the present show a lot of love. I'm in and all when I see them people give it back. Under it all, we put them people right up on our back. And we gon' compete. Living through the struggle every day. so we can compete. Fighting really hard every day, so we can compete. Doing everything that we can, so we can compete. Letting people know who we are, when we gon' come. I'm in my car, smoking black and mild windows low, contemplating on the moment that I get to blow. I play the lotto, I don't do it for the wrong reasons. Pray if I hit, I don't use it for the wrong reason. And if I hit, I got that chopper for them sucker scheming. Gotta make it cause I tell you that my mama need it. Calm down, homie, this your winning thoughts talking. I know a person needed more, that's borderline cough. Okay, that's cool, but my heart hurts me every day, cause when my papa needed help, I couldn't even save. And you don't know about the mortgage getting paid late, and you don't know about them hours worth of low pay. I tell you this, my life and it's a true story. So when you tell me about them others, man, it just bores me. So get the hell out my way, I'm trying to make a play, so we can all live good and have some better days, and we can compete. Living through the struggle every day, so we can compete. Fighting really hard every day, so we can compete. Doing everything that we can, so we can compete. Letting people know who we are, when we gon' compete.